that have some of that hidden information. They've been preparing for 2 weeks here at the major, just waiting for the other teams to get slotted in against them. And the second squad that we're going to get to see right after this series going to be Alliance against LGD. So we're going to be able to ask a lot of those questions about who really is the best region, or who is the best from that region of China. And also, I think a lot of people are very excited to see Alliance today. I know I'm very excited to see them today. So the first 2 series start off with a bang, and it does not cool down at all. It's going to be nice to have just that nonstop Dota. We're hanging out in the upper bracket. All of these teams can afford that loss, and then tomorrow, that's when we start cutting even more teams out of the equation. Do you think we have any weak links left?
Ooh. Everybody's been more impressive than I thought they would be. Like, especially, I think TNC is the one that stood out for me the most because we got to see so many games from them. We saw their growth through the tournament. I don't know. I don't think so. I think I'm happy. I think I'm pretty satisfied with every single team right now.
I think the wild card kind of showed that there really aren't any teams even coming to the wild card who are below caliber. I brought it up multiple times, but now that I see Alliance, they're going to be the second series of the day. I think back to that tweet that Loda had about a week ago where it was like, wow, if we took the entirety of this wild card, broke it off, made it its own tournament, it would still feel like a tier 1 tournament. And that's not something that I don't think we ever felt at the minors, right? And now when we're here seeing this best of 2 format, seeing all those teams, you got teams like Team Nigma and Vici playing in the wild cards. You got some pretty impressive talent, but the talent that we are focused on once again is going to be Aster against T1. As you can see, they're on the stage right now. They're starting to get ready. We should be hopping into a draft pretty soon. Started to talk about some of those, the more variety that we think we might see, things like that Legion Commander. But I want to talk about a small thing that you brought up, Brian, because I find it really interesting. And when I was talking to some of the coaches and some of the managers before the tournament started, the idea was obviously popping up. You brought up the idea that some of the things in the meta we might just instantly start seeing, instead of just outright bans, we might actually start seeing the solutions. I know TA was one of the ones where we were like, okay, what are the solutions going to be? Razors obviously become pretty popular as one of those answers. What do you think we are going to see as far as solutions? Like, what needs solutions when the teams sit down in the booth today when we're thinking about heroes?
Oh, it's going to be combos. I think a lot of times in the middle of a chaotic group stage like that, you can maybe come up with one-to-one matchups like the Razor versus the TA, but I see these TAs that they just go back to jungle, rotate between lane and jungle continuously. I think we're going to see a lot of kill combos between the 4 and the 2. We're going to see like Ember Earth Spirits. Like, I'm just giving an example that may not be in this meta, but that's what we have a lot more time to theorycraft this stuff, because you're not only countering the hero now that you've had time to kind of gauge its strengths and timings, but you have to counter its game plan too, and that's something where with extra time you can take care of.
And we'll see if these teams, because it's 2 of the newer teams, it's 2 of the playoff teams. Let's see if they even adapt. What if they just don't even adapt the wildcard stuff? What if they don't even use the group stage stuff? What if they just look at that and just go, whatever, who cares about that? We're just going to play our own styles, which I think could absolutely still happen.
It could, and then we see what actually is better, because one of the oddities that happens with those best of 2s as well, you don't have as much time to adapt. And if you sink, you're cut. And I feel like a lot of the teams, for a while, it was like, okay, we need to fall back on comfort. And even when you think about the teams that didn't make it to playoffs, when you think about a team like Beast Coast, for example, what's the biggest reason that they didn't make it to playoffs? It was this odd moment of them not really being able to play their own style, not figuring out how to do it in the meta, not being able to. It felt like they were trying to fall back on comfort, and while doing it, they almost lost themselves.
I think it's crazy. It almost looked like them and Liquid were like scrambling towards the end of the group stage, where they're like, oh, the idea we came in with didn't work. I guess let's just copy what everyone else is doing, and yet you don't have nearly as much practice, and you can see the impact of one team's plan going into a tournament being superior to yours. But the thing is, now you've got that extra day. An extra day can do wonders for the teams that placed in the middle of the pack in the group stage, and also for the teams that are watching that are already here. Like you said, maybe they'll just ignore and have their own idea coming in. But I think that it's hard to just act like this didn't happen.
Yeah, it was really wild, though, to see those teams that, like when you talk about Liquid and you talk about Beast Coast scrambling, because they were kind of getting the copy pasta going, but you could tell that they didn't really know what the copy pasta meant. So it was like most of Chad, honestly. It was like, Control C, Control V, but what the heck does it mean? Yeah. And they would put together like a lot of these things, but in the draft, but maybe not seeing the right pairings, maybe not actually seeing the right way to win the game. And it was just fairly obvious that they hadn't figured out the answer.
Yeah, it's always easy to just copy something and not understand it. I think we see that from most people who go back, let's just talk about people's pubs and stuff like that, right? This pro did it, so I'm going to copy it and do it in my pub, and you have no idea what the hell what the concept of it is. So you have to understand something.
I think most of the players that copy paste have a good idea of what they're supposed to do when they're playing the hero, but the biggest thing I've noticed is that they don't understand what to ban, because they haven't played the hero or combination or strategy enough to know what shuts it down. You know, we've seen perfect 10th picks that just kind of, like we saw the Drow come out from Team Spirit that really made that Oracle Luna from Liquid look rough, and that was basically Liquid copying what a lot of other teams have done with the Luna. Like Nigma was having really good success with it.
You learn through pain.
Exactly.
And the thing is, like, you need to feel that absolute thorn in your side to be like, no, I cannot deal with this right now. Please get it out. We need to switch lanes. We need to do all of those things aren't going to happen unless you've felt the absolute excruciating pain.
Dota's a team game. It's like you may understand everything about your hero in your perspective, but if your team doesn't understand how to play around it perfectly, then it probably just won't work.
Yeah, and then you're just, you basically just have a copy. It's like you see the drawing of like the horse that's like just falling apart like as you go. It feels like that as you watch the game unfold. It was like, yeah, you started drawing it right, but then the execution just wasn't there. Now, when we do look at Aster, I think this is a team of such high caliber that we probably don't expect to see that, and that's why what you said is so interesting to me. Just the idea of like, what if they're just like, yes, we're just gonna keep doing it our way. Our answer is better. We saw everything that happened in groups. We do not need to adapt to this. We do not need to move for this.
Yeah, they might do like some like small. I'm not saying fully ignore, but I think they might just do some small adaptation, but then just stick to the Lanem. I think people have not displayed his most popular hero. I think nobody's shown how strong it is. His Train Protector. He dominated most of his games. He was the one who was making it popular again. I don't think anybody's shown that in Wildcard and Group Stage nearly as effectively. Same thing for his Abaddon. It was unpicked, right? Yeah. It was like 0 picks as a 5 position.
Largely ignored, yeah.
So I think that he's going to be able to take advantage of that, and he is a big brain guy.
Yeah, the thing that I noticed about their heroes was a lot of them resemble the meta that they've only played in the DPC, and a lot of them are the heroes that are super popular. Mars was their #1 picked offlaner during the DPC, and they are prioritizing it higher than anyone else that I saw in the China region. And then I also mentioned that they prioritize the lanes a lot more than I've seen other Chinese teams. They picked Troll Carry 4 times as well. We haven't seen that hero virtually at all, and the only strength he really offers that I can think of that other carries don't is a strong laning phase. And I think we'll see like a Luna, a Drow, Terrorblade, these ranged cores that are really strong in lane that go well with the Abaddon tree.
I'm glad you actually mentioned teams picking it before we got to this tournament, because I do want to quickly switch like to T1. I know we were talking about on the bus over. They're one of the few, well, not one of the few, but they're one of the teams that they love Lion. Before this tournament started, they were already picking Lion. They're already picking the Snapfire, these very popular support heroes. So I feel like these two teams do have a good grasp already on the meta that has been starting to get developed.
They pretty much, you're saying, almost developed it even before the tournament started. Like kind of leading the pack, leading the frontier. And now when we get here, we actually get to put them to the test, because as we've mentioned, there are just so many squads that we just don't know how they're going to perform yet. Obviously, they made it through based off of the DPC, but I think that there are some teams where some of the people in chat have questions about them. They don't really think that the DPC League's necessarily the most accurate representation of who's going to be able to win this tournament. Do you think that there are any squads in particular that you're expecting not as strong as a performance from?
I think today is more about the testing grounds for Alliance as well as VP. Both two teams that have finished first and second, or first in both cases for VP both seasons, and yet flopped last major. VP was having some sickness issues. Alliance kind of just dropped out of the group stage without making a splash at all, but yet they're consistently placing in their DPC league. So now's the time to shine. I'm skeptical, but
you're skeptical of Alliance, you're saying?
Of both.
Okay.
VP and Alliance, but I think they're quite capable of maybe making a run at it.
Any skepticism in your mind right now?
I think it's really interesting matchups, because we do have to bring it up too, is we do have some of these like similar regions playing versus each other in a way, but Alliance is the one that drew the unlucky stick, it feels like. They're like, okay, VP and Enigma, they've probably scrimmed each other and played each other a bit. Sure, it's not Europe and Europe, it's Eastern Europe and Europe, the Western European division, but this is Europe versus China. This is completely different. The first series we have is SEA versus China, so they've been able to play versus each other in the past. This is just a complete flipper.
And the bottom one is SANA, so...
Exactly. So I think this is probably going to be the biggest test for Alliance of what they're going to be able to do.
Yeah, when you start talking about regions, I start getting excited thinking about what the best region actually is right now in all of Dota. I have my ideas that are completely unbiased, but do you think that as we start to move through, China is going to ultimately reign supreme as the best region?
I know they have at least 3 of the top 8 like 3 of the top 6 even teams here. I'm not 100% sure they'll be able to take the entire thing, but their consistency and depth has been you can't question it.
I'll be honest, and don't take any disrespect to this at all. The 5-headed, gorgeous analysts. I love working with you guys so much, but every time I get to a tournament and all of the analysts are super hot on a region and they're like, yeah, the best region, someone from China or whatever region, insert region that analysts think are the best here. They're talking it all up. They're like, there's no way that this region doesn't win. You guys are fucking wrong. Every single time. I've never seen you guys
That's
be
because
right.
you weren't here at the first major. China got like 1st, 3rd, and 8th or something like that.
I wasn't here, and quite a few people up on the stage actually weren't here as well. Which
Did
is
you want us to be NA biased? We've got 3 NA right here.
I'm hyped for some Quincy
I'm
crew.
so hyped for some Quincy crew.
But
okay?
you've only asked me who I'm skeptical of, and also the first 2 series. So I haven't gotten a chance. Quincy crew did not do all that well at the last major, but they were missing MSS, and I think that's a really important component of their team. And they are looking hot. They beat EG during the regular season, or DPC. They beat them both times. And the only reason that EG got first seed the first season was because they won the tiebreaker between all 3 teams. And I think Quincy crew is going to prove the haters wrong. I hope they do, at least.
I hope they do too, because they didn't get, like you said, they didn't get a chance to last time. They had to use not their first option of stand-in, not their second option of stand-in. They had to use like their 3rd or 4th local stand-in because they just weren't able to find another option because they were missing one of their most crucial players. So I am looking forward to that matchup, but I think the later matchups today are very exciting, but I think these have their own prowess as well. They have their own super interesting kind of style that it's going to be playing out.
As you can see, the teams have not made it to the draft yet. Sometimes it takes a little while to get that ignition started, get the key in the vehicle, and start the game off right. So we will be waiting for them to do that for a little while. And I'm hoping that while we do that, production could potentially bring me a stool. Nobody told me that I was going to be standing today, and I am starting to feel like a very, very short, petite man.
Yeah, don't worry. You're not exactly sitting with like Owen and Cheever.
I think if I stood up, I can barely reach over this lovely ramen desk here. So,
like the Dota folks are tall. Like the Dota talent, like Slacks is like 6'4" or something.
Cinderin, Suns fans pretty tall.
It makes me feel miserable all the time. Every tournament they have to give me a box.
Yeah, I think I need the box this time around. I beat you by a couple inches.
Yeah.
You talking about in height?
I'll give you that one.
Brian, it's 10 a.m. Jeez Louise, it's 10 a.m. I was talking about height.
That's why I was clarifying. That's what I figured you were talking about.
Thank you so much, Brian. Thank you for that. I'm blushing. But most of the blushing is probably because I'm just so gosh darn excited for this match to actually get started.
Yeah.
All several inches. Very, very excited for this matchup to get started. Brian.
I don't think I've ever seen Rich thrown off.
What have you done to him? Look at him. He's like...
Because I came in and I didn't make a single inappropriate joke today, and I'm not going to.
I was just asking for confirmation
playoffs.
And clarification.
It's playoffs. It's serious now.
It's serious.
You know, we already had our groups. We already had our wild card. We had the time for messing around, and now it's time to get really serious. It's time to get down to business. And,
Absolutely.
what's that face? Man, you're giving me that Lacoste shit-eating grin. Hey. Man, Lacoste has been on fire throughout this entire event.
He has.
Yeah, what do you
the
think about
puns.
Lacoste now?
The puns have been nonstop.
He cracks me up. He really does. He really does. I love me some Dota, but the teams they are going to be taking just a little while to get into this draft. And once we do actually hop into the draft, I think a lot of the questions that we've been asking are finally going to be answered, because we do have some big questions in this tournament. We've talked about a lot of the teams, how they actually did get here, and what that meta is going to look like. And I think today really is the day that we'll start to get a semblance of what the rest of the bracket is going to look like. We don't eliminate any teams from the bracket until tomorrow, so there is a little bit of wiggle room for all these squads.
Yeah, I'm excited too for drafting for this, because I think, we keep talking about speed versus greed kind of concept here. These are two of the greedier teams for me, just based off of their carries. 23 Savage and Monet tend to be on the greedier side, and I think this entire meta has been dictating like 30-minute games. Sure, they can bring it to this point too, but yeah, I wonder how much variation, how much changes we do get.
I've never actually gotten to see my mullet before.
It's pretty bad from that angle, right?
God, I look terrible. Why didn't anybody tell me?
You.
This is an awful haircut. I thought it was great. I was like, man, this is This
Party in the
haircut.
front, business in front, party in back. Is that how mullets go?
Yeah, you nailed it, BS.
I nailed it, dude. I didn't think about that for a
That's exactly
second.
what it is. Yeah, no, I got this haircut and I was like, you know, going back to Dota, got to represent NA. This haircut's about as American as barbecue, apple pie, and a hand pistol. But man, I just look like an idiot. I'm making my region look absolutely terrible right now.
I like
Hopefully
the
the
camera
Dota
angle.
teams make it look a little bit better.
That's a really nice camera angle for you, though.
You think so?
You get
I do
the
think
stripes
so.
and the orange really well.
No, that's a nice camera angle for me.
You look good from the front, yeah.
Production's trying to gas me up now. They know that I feel bad. I just hear in a thick Ukrainian accent, just, you have nice mustache. Thank you. At least I have something. The one thing that I don't have right now is a draft to get into.
No.
We're going to be waiting just a few more minutes. Early in the day, got to make sure everything's right up on the stage. Otherwise, go out there, something goes wrong. You want to make sure that doesn't happen. Very stressful situation that, no one on this panel's been in a very long time.
Or ever.
Or ever.
You've been in stressful situations as
I don't
a player.
remember. It's been so long.
Yeah.
What, 6, 7
Different
years
life.
ago. 7 years. It really is a different life at this point. I never played at oh no, I did play at a TI stage. What was I talking about? That was TI3 though. That is actually a different lifetime.
That was long before we met each other.
It was. That was 8 years ago.
That us meeting each other went off without a hitch.
Yeah.
You're not mad at me anymore,
I'm
right?
not mad at you. I wasn't even mad at you. I was just disappointed. I'd heard great
Nothing-
stories. I'd heard
nothing-
great stories about you.
Nothing
You
will
let
ever
me down.
top. Nothing will ever top though how mad you got at me after TI.
Okay, yeah, we won't bring that one up.
We won't bring that one up.
No, we won't bring
Yes,
that
we
one up.
will.
Let's talk about draft.
Because I will be honest,
talk about draft.
I did nothing wrong. And
You did.
Peter, I could get Peter on a call right now. I heard he's been doing that throughout the entire DPC season. I can get Peter on a call right now, and he'll back me up. Basically, what happened after TI, you know that story that you told about,
Yes.
we were hanging out, we were having a good time the night that we were hanging
Yeah.
out with Chris Luck.
Yeah.
A fantastic time. Really like hanging out with him, and I like watching him play even more. Sadly, we're not going to get to do that too much more at this tournament, but at TI. We'll figure out a little bit more. I think they're like, 98.4% in?
They're pretty much
something like that.
guaranteed,
I'm hoping that they get in. Very fun team to watch. But we were having a lot of fun, and it was right before Classic WoW came out. And Fogged and I we actually changed our flights.
This story.
We changed our flights so we would make it back right after TI. We left from the after party, essentially, got back, and we were going to be there right as the servers turned on. And throughout the entirety of the night, I would walk up to Fogg and be like, "You going to be ready? You going to be ready?" He's like, "Yeah."
How it went, by the way. Totally.
It's a
You can believe
100.
this.
Brian was there.
Mm-hmm.
I went up to you. I double checked, tried to see if you're okay throughout the entire time. Sure enough, I go back to my room. I'm panicking at this point. I'm like, oh my gosh, people are gonna I'm gonna be late. Like, got to throw everything in. Got to make sure I can leech off of Asmongold and get a bunch of loot. I got to get on the servers ASAP. I'm packing everything up. I don't go to sleep. I go down. I head down to the bus. Where's Giannis? Can't find him. Yeah, I'm looking all over the place. Can't find him. I'm texting him. I'm calling him. He's not answering me. I go, oh no. He did the one thing that you shouldn't do in a situation like that, and that is sleep before the plane has taken off. So me, a good friend, I go around. I go to the hotel desk. I'm like, can you call him? What room is he in? Can we knock on the door? I'm sending the hotel staff to knock on the door. Sure enough.
True story.
He did.
Very, very true story.
It's true.
Sure enough, I get to the airport, one text message. It's the only text message I have on my phone. Well, it's two text messages, but it's from one person, this man right here. He says, I can't believe you left me behind. You're dead to me.
This is true. I sent that message. You were dead to me. I asked the hotel staff. They said you did not come to wake me up, but I believe you because Tiffany, sweet Tiffany, did say that he did. So I was wrong. He did try to wake me up, and I did not. But I got home before you anyway, so it didn't matter. Even if my flight was 8 hours later, I still got home before
How'd you
he
get
did.
home first?
I don't know.
My flight got delayed, on the.
That's called karma, I believe.
Yeah, but karma for what? I did everything right in that scenario. And my plane doesn't take off. He's level 20 before I even get back, and he's just taunting. He's just like, ah.
That's sometimes what happens.
That's the equivalent of tipping you.
Oh my gosh. You
Good
won't
try.
believe what happened. They emailed me that it was time to go into the draft, and I haven't been checking.
Oh my God.
Who would make a mistake so foolish? Let's get into the draft panel.
Welcome, ladies and gents, to the draft panel. I only have the smartest men in Dota 2's history, Jenkins and T-Governor. Well, at least one of them is good. Gentlemen, welcome to the draft panel. So good to have you. Are you ready to discuss the nitty-gritty of Dota 2 teams?
Absolutely. Sir Action Slack, I can tell you, I did pub with quite a few of these players yesterday. 15 losses in a row. I went 1-17, quite a few of these games.
Great.
So I definitely am an expert with regards to the heroes that they've been picking.
Ah.
I graced a couple unranked games and lost, so I too am very well versed in this series coming ahead.
I have forgone all EU pubs. I refuse to go back into that hellscape. Not anywhere else in my life have I played pubs like EU. SCA pubs are better than EU pubs right now. Absolutely vile, disgusting. I don't know how they make it.
But what's vile about them, you know?
Just
other than the people.
I can tell you exactly what's vile about them. I can literally tell you. You ask the question, you're trying to bait him. I can tell you, okay?
Okay, go on.
Here's the problem with the EU pubs. Nobody presses a single smoke of deceit, which is funny because everybody smokes here. So everybody's against smoking, which is funny. They just run at each other. It's just chaos. Run at the mid tower, fight nonstop. There's no structure whatsoever to it. Everybody just fights because they see Nigma doing it. Oh, I'm going to be Nigma. I'm GH now. I'm going to get Holy Locket and run at every single tower, which is what I did yesterday. I went 1-17.
Thank you.
It doesn't work.
I find they're very experimental in this region, you know? Last pick, off-lane Coddle, rushing Holy Locket. You know? Carry mid-Pudge. I don't know what's happening, and it's always the last pick, too. They save the real psychopaths for the end there.
Do they bait you, though? Like, do they hover on, like, a normal
Yes,
hero?
they do.
They go, like, TA, and it's like the bait and switch, bam, Cuddle. Wait, like, yeah, exactly. Ugh.
Why? Why, though?
People just want to be cool, and they see a pro do something, and then they're like, I could be that too, and then they realize they're like 4.2k, and
Dire team ban.
see, compared to Aster, where they've played in I-League, they've played in DP, like, the volume of games between these teams is vastly different, and that could either be great for them or...
Radiant team ban.
I did see in SEA DP, we're playing on China server. A
Dire
lot of the
team
matches,
ban.
surprisingly. So I suppose prefer to play on that server, and then they probably do some side. I would imagine they scrimp a lot, given that.
Fantastic. Man, I have to say, though, I am very excited to see if there's going to be a difference between
10
these
seconds
teams that
remaining.
were already in the playoff bracket and the ones that had played through the wild card in the group.
5 seconds
I mean, the
remaining.
drafts have been so similar in the wild card groups, even I can guess what the
Radiant
heroes are.
team ban.
Abysmal. Do you guys think we're going to see a big
Dire
difference
team
between guys who have already made it?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean,
Goodness gracious, the draft. Go
whoa!
ahead.
I was looking at all the pubs of these players spamming because you can see what they're trying to
Radiant
practice
team
from
pick.
their scrims, and it looks like they are picking that has been decided by the players, maybe scrims, that whatever the meta was of wildcard in the group, here to stay. I imagine there will be girls coming in and out, but I don't think it's going to be some crazy change. So maybe it's around
10 seconds
I
remaining.
think the main thing with what they said Bond's journey.
Five
I'll use the
seconds
term
remaining.
stubborn just because like they were always going for
Radiant
the same
team
pick. They were one of the few teams that put like Centaur first pick, Lion first pick. I think this is where we're going to see them either stick to the guns or, like Jenkins just mentioned, kind of morph into what the meta of this meta. Again, these teams have been here since day one. They've been in their practice room playing the pubs. Like the playoff
10
teams
seconds
have
remaining.
the biggest kind of test to either show development. They've
5
not been
seconds
forced to
remaining.
play. They can basically copy, learn, adapt, and improve. Show up in this.
It feels good. Valley, populated with Dota heroes. 1,000 years. Not seen any. So good. Those lotuses, they need blood to.
Dire team
Yeah,
pick.
the real world, is not even 1,000 years old, so it's good that we have cataclysm.
Subscribe to that theory, eh? The great cataclysm.
Edge of the world yet? Think you've seen over the edge of the world?
I have not seen over the edge because I can't.
You know, people always make fun of the flat earthers.
10
till
seconds
one of them
remaining.
says, bring them to the edge, and they blindfold them. Then no one's
5 seconds remaining.
left. Terrifying.
Fall off.
That's what we see. The Enchantress picked up with a Dragon Knight. Already looking pretty good. Two very good heroes, but Mars still maintaining that high win rate. Despite everyone knowing how to play against the hero, everyone understanding what the hero's about. He's a simple
Dire team
hero.
back.
There's no tricks with Mars. No one's doing anything cool. Ooh, but that's pretty cool. Second pick there.
No, I like that. In regards to the Mars idea that they mentioned it on
Radiant team ban.
idea of pairing. Mars is right now is one of the off-laners that has best enabling factor. Yeah, like any ranged hero, Mars just gives you. It's hard to have a bad lane. Then this
Dire
DB pick
team
goes straight
back.
into engine. Development of what's in the meta where if DK is an off lane, people can have a great time. We're able
Radiant
to push out the
team
lanes
back.
with it going into mid game. So if you're skipping and playing the correct map, this DK doesn't really have great effect just barreling down.
I think also something with Mars and T that you never feel like you lack damage. Like, if you feel like you lack damage with the T on your team,
10
guy
seconds
probably
remaining.
this hero just like the obliterate.
5 seconds
You need people to
remaining.
be locked somewhere, right? Like locked in an area. Mars doesn't do that much damage now, other than like if you can get some other hero, like you said, Brow or this chunk out damage
Dire
during his
team
reach,
ban.
it looks absolutely.
I kind of like the idea of the DK lineup about kind of that instance on one hero killing him. Saw it in series when Arteezy was playing. Very sacrificial. He was always able to save the guy that was doing jump and turn around the fight. And I don't think you can never
10
forget
seconds
about the
remaining.
value of Sunder in these type of.
Sure.
Again, it's a smaller matchup, but it's an intricate part of how
5 seconds remaining.
I wonder how the Aghanim Scepter on TV here synergizes with the Mars ulti. I don't think it's
yeah.
that long of a year, so maybe it's not the biggest deal, but I have never actually seen combo together. Dark Willow.
the Lone Druid Mars. I remember, I think it was Gunner or something, was like bashing on that about. I was like, guys, we need to make Lone Druid and Mars, and then the bear will run in and then fear everyone, and then they'll bash their faces
That's
into
just like
the
a
wall.
scuffed Dark Willow.
Yeah,
I feel like this is
exactly.
Dark Willow.
Yeah, this is like ultra scuffed Dark Willow.
Yeah, but you know, it's something. You know, it's something on top of the fact that they already synergize well
Scuffed
together.
gameplay can win majors.
Yeah, sure. Dota 2 is
Radiant
And then,
team
nonetheless.
ban.
Rude. Babies die. The game nearly shut itself off.
does.
Very
Yeah.
terrifying.
Yeah, wish. Flee the.
Yeah, what's up with that? Where is Brood Mama?
I mean,
One are losers with it. They played it twice within the regional league, and then they lost.
10 seconds
I-
remaining.
Over.
I personally think XXS is literally the best brood on the planet.
5
So I'm-
seconds remaining.
I'm shocked that one was okay with leaving that in. And
Radiant team pick.
sure, yeah, actually, Mars is a
Dire team
viable
pick.
mid.
Lion.
And, sure they can play mid.
Have played it mid.
Không sao,
I
cứ
leave
ball,
people.
cứ ball, guys.
Now
Lose
T1
together,
might
win
one with
together,
like
slay together, slay together,
Lion.
slay together.
Oh, he's dancing.
Thanks,
We're
guys.
in.
Thanks a lot.
We're in. I mean, Lion's got a lot to be happy about.
Radiant
It's been a
team
really
pick.
long time. He has been anything meta. Wow, Phoenix is very small. That little Lion's like half his size, for God's sake. He could eat that. It looks like a chicken. Imagine dying to a flaming chicken. Embarrassing. But anyway, Lion's had a rough ride
10
for
seconds
many
remaining.
seasons, and now he is top tiers.
I like this
Dire
hero as a
team
response to the kind of overwhelming healing and people are picking, because you have this Phoenix Mars like crazy team fight, right? What happens if you just burst one of these heroes?
The Ignition God can sing and dance.
10 seconds remaining.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's just a Morphlings model.
5 seconds remaining.
Come on, guys. Look at that.
He's
goddamn
updated at some point, right?
Sweet Jesus, look at him next to Lion. This beautiful, beautiful evil creature that you have this nightmare of polygons. Get him out of my sight. Alright, anyway. So Morphling picked up here. Usually we see Morphling picked up big synergy, you know? Your Willows, your Earthshakers. Nothing too crazy here. Does he go too well with anything on T1's
Dire
lineup?
team
Yeah,
back.
he morph sounds pretty
Lena.
cool actually.
Double
Got the
stun. Yeah.
7 seconds straight of stun.
Now the Lena very much a risk of Morphling. Mars, I'd assume would be offlane with the Phoenix there. Lena is now. You have that kind of explosive.
10 seconds
I like
remaining.
how in the tournament so far we've seen the development of Lena.
5 seconds remaining. Radiant team
Use
back.
AC, maybe play for yourself and not just kind of out kind of developer where you kind of. That alone will give you quite a.
Yeah, all you need to do on Lena, revive some initial. A lot of teams are crazy team fight and kind of area
10
control. Like I would
seconds
even
remaining.
consider Terrorblade to be sort of area control here. If you walk
5
into him,
seconds
die.
remaining.
Sit next to a Terrorblade and he's meta'd, and you're Lena, you can just sit there doing damage with him. Same with Mars, so you can't walk into the arena. And so picking these heroes with Lena, I think, makes a lot of sense, because then you don't need to care as much about the positioning element of Lena, where oftentimes she'll get so huge game, but then just squishy mid hero that only does damage, the glass cannon. I really do like this draft from here. I think they have a ton of damage in the late game and a lot of heroes.
The thing is like they were limited on
Dire team back.
powers. DK is just a weird. You need a mid that can also match up against Lena independent. Kill off the creeps with DK. Power. Aster's game is about buying time. T1 when you have heroes like Lion, they're looking for skirmishes, pickoffs, and
10
pure
seconds
5-on-5.
remaining.
They can never truly, unless their last pick be a mid or off.
Radiant team ban.
Right now, it's about getting quick kills, getting a couple items, getting the game going. Like, what's Aster, Selena pick, the Phoenix, like, they're basically accepting that slow pace laning phase, push out lanes, ramp up the aggression going.
10 seconds remaining.
For Echelon.
5 seconds
I like that they
remaining.
did their homework. Aster bans out the Bat Rider. One has been running Bat Rider a few times in the few games that they've played since they've done, really anything since the. That's great. It means they did their research. They'll be ready for this.
Key thing here is Aster just tune at the peak paired with Enchantress. It is going to be like a last pick.
That's a super, incredibly easy. I think just DK stun paired with any
Dire team pick.
incredibly good. And I actually think that T1 needs early mid-game damage. Enchantress is carry the laning stun that you need. The late game damage from them, but they don't have any damage in the early game. So
10
I think
seconds
something like a
remaining.
Death Prophet. Quite nice. I think the Bat Rider would have been
5
a fantastic
seconds
option as
remaining.
well.
The only issue with early pace in the heroes, the Lena does so well.
The Lena does incredible.
And that's kind of where
Classic
this like
counter.
generic style of leaner pick which will rise in popularity. Because you pick this leaner and it's oh, do we really pick to beat the leaner but have a great? You want to have kind of jump and catch, but when your initial picks are very anti kind of
Radiant
it's hard
team
to fill
pick.
everything.
assassin.
So the next
Yeah,
assassin.
they get a last pick Nick. Wow, believe that.
Yeah.
I know, they're just ignoring what so many people have valued in the stage and the wild card.
Both teams get Nick's banned against them a lot. So it's surprising that neither team bans it
10
until the
seconds
last
remaining.
pick. This is always cool when you drafts have
5
studied
seconds
so
remaining.
much for this match that you can tell that kind of bait. And then the teams also know that the enemy team is baiting stuff, and so they're not picking. You know, but everything changes.
It also prevents like for the Storm pick team fully subscribe to the idea of catch a quick hero, get a kill, and move next pick. Moves that from the game. You can't really go extract and give pace to your lineup. Yeah, like the fact that you get a last pick Nick really does. Aster, T1 are going to probably pull their time hit, find out what they need.
TA is still the Oak hero that's available for. Don't really have. I mean, it's another late game here. Morphling. That kind of sus, especially lacking damage into your offlaner.
There it is.
Okay.
Oh,
They got a last pick Brood.
sure.
All right.
Nixon into the Brood.
Wow.
Okay, so okay.
All right, so both, has a little bit of flair of their own, but we do see a lot of these similar hero talk. You were talking some big ups on the Broodmother. Make the difference here?
Was an Aster Brood? I would say yes. I mean, XXS, you give him a Brood game that's good, he's going to run up. I've heard about Cuckoo Brood, but I'm sure he's practicing it a lot.
Good things?
I don't know how this. I think there are the Mars, are both good at spiders in the mid, and I think TB's fine against the armor. So all you need to do is rotation if you're Aster, and I don't think the that much of a trump pick.
Yes, yeah, this Brood pick, it really puts a lot of emphasis of having to take control of the. They need to be able to trick the map quite quickly. The Eng can play really well with that, but if this kind of they take one bad fight, this Aster's lineup will just. It is a last pick Brood. It doesn't feel like the gotcha pick, but it's more about giving them a 15-minute timing.
Right, and it is a Radiant Brood, so when they're controlling the enemy jungle, they can take the rush with the Morphling, so that does make it a lot better.
All right. Well, we'll be heading over to that game relatively soon, but I want to hear it. Prediction time, boys.
Prepare
I
for
have to go
battle.
with Aster. I think
And die.
their team unwind T1.
Không sao, win the ball,
Listen to your team fight. A very simple
You make
answer.
best situation out of no
I agree. I think they have a ton of damage, and then they have great hero.
Good enough for me, Jenkins. No need to elaborate. We've got that game ready to go. Let's throw it on into our first game of the day.
Thank you very much, Slax. Yes, T1 versus Aster, ready to go here. I'm ODPixel, joined by the fabulous Lacoste. Lacoste, I know, of course, you've been following both of these regions very, very close. We're finally going to get to see Aster and T1 coming into the playoffs to go head-to-head. What are your expectations looking at this first game, and what do you think about these sort of the scary picks from both sides? The Brood coming out from
30
T1,
seconds
but
to
Aster
battle.
having that strong old Terrorblade carry that just seems to win game after game. Okay, I think Lacoste is just making his way over a few technical hiccups, but don't worry, that means you're stuck with me, just me for now. But here we go, bouncer runes are spawning, and we're going to see any action. It doesn't look like it. Monet has a bit of a look in at the top, but of course not wanting to get involved. And we'll see what lane setups we're going to have. Anything surprising? Doesn't look like it. Cuckoo obviously starting up top on the off-lane Brood. We're going to have Zephyr up there as well, trying their best to put some harassment onto Monet on the early levels. Bottom lane, 23 Savage playing that carry morph. He is going to have to into the rather spooky lane here at the Phoenix and Mars. XXS Mars and Borax Phoenix at least still have one
here,
to help out,
Owen.
but definitely could be a lane. No ways. Oh, there we have it. You're in. Lacoste, how you doing, sir? And
I'm back.
yeah,
I'm
game on our hands
good.
here.
I'm good. Yeah, definitely. T1 against Aster, the best coming out from the both regions. T1, the team that improved the most in the second season. Definitely a team to look out for. 23 Savage and his signature hero, morphing on the bottom lane, paired up with the Lion. This is the standard tier 1 lineup that I've seen throughout the second season. Whitemon really does well on a Lion, been able to get so many clutch initiations once he gets a Blink Dagger. But yeah, looking at the lane setup, morphing against Lion, plus the good old school combo. We have Mars plus a Phoenix and Broodmother. Panel talked about Cuckoo, Broodmother, you know, not been impressed the most compared to some other Broodmothers, but I hope he's been practicing.
Sure. I mean, and this game, when you look at the Brood, can you see why T1 wanted to go that way with the ending of the draft? Is this a good Brood game, or are you looking at Aster's lineup and feeling that they have got ways to deal with Cuckoo and his spiders?
It looks like a good Broodmother game. They don't have that one hero that can just go in and park himself in the lane. Probably gonna need to be Mars when TB goes back to jungle, but we'll see. Because like Lina is not sustainable. You want to give all the levels pretty much to Broodmother. Enchantress can also get some farm in the jungle and leave some solo XP for the Broodmother. Get that level 6 early on, start to pressure the tower, and to go back to Cuckoo's Broodmother. He's been the only Broodmother that I've seen that invades enemy triangle.
Okay. Oh, bottom, Whitemon, nearly dying there. He's got a save good to go. And oh yeah, so far Cuckoo, I mean, he's laning looking pretty damn hot. You know, 12 for 2 against the 8-0 Mono, having that lane advantage here as there we have it. He's not having a fun time here. We saw earlier, you know, Zephyr just harassing Lanham out the lane and actually able to get the first blood on him. So I mean, this top lane is, I don't think it could be going any better here for T1. This is a fantastic start up top.
It's a great start for them. And Lanham, he needs to be more careful. Usually he's the one playing these tanky position 5s, playing the Abaddon, playing the Treant Protector, so much better at trading. This time around, it's a Nyx Assassin 5. You know, this hero doesn't trade well, doesn't provide with much early on, something that Lanham does, extremely greedy player. Once he plays that Nyx Assassin, going for the Witchblade into Aghanim, especially if he finds that Philistone Spear.
Oh. I'm gonna do a regen down here, Whitemon. He's only got one tango left to give him. So yeah, it's 23 Savage. He's going to have to be quite cautious down. He's got the courier coming out, but just the Band of Elvins get no further regen. So definitely a chance for Aster to pressure. And look at this XXS. He's able to see the opportunity to get the spear in, but 23 Savage still with just enough strength to stop Aster from diving in further with the two of them. And he is going to have to be careful. I just say, sitting under this tower, very, very low. There's the pressure really being put on this bot lane for 23 Savage.
Couriers are going back. They need to bring a healing salve. Whitemon already bought one. XXS Mars has been very impressive throughout the first and the second season. He might actually be the best Mars player in the world. Top lane, a lot of pressure. They didn't block the big camp, so Enchantress keeps getting these creeps. And now Monet.
I mean, he's just crushing it up there. Yeah, he's killing Lanham, he's killing Monet now. And now Lanham, I mean, he's got to run. I don't know how safe he's going to be either. He has got the spike carapace, so from some of the impetus damage, but they're having a fantastic time, this top lane. Zephyr and Cuckoo on the Enchantress Brood. They're making sure this Terrorblade has a really tough opening this game.
This lane just might be done. Like, TB, one more death, and he needs to get the hell out. Right now doesn't have a Conjure image, so can't really farm the jungle that effectively. We didn't talk too much about the mid lane. It's pretty even in terms of CS 2020. Dragon Knight can't be really killed by Lina. Dragon Blood 3 points in it, so pretty hard to take down. White Album, he's gonna need to do some heavy lifting in this game. Like, he needs to be able to have a good game, because top lane is pretty much a disaster. 29-9 on Cuckoo. Last time I've seen him play the Broodmother, he invested a lot of gold in all these small items.
Is he gonna? I don't think he's gonna get away from this. Zephyr, he's not got any mana left. Still, Lanham just having to run himself probably all the way back to base here. No healing on him. And yeah, Zephyr continues to be a right nuisance. I mean, when you see sort of Zephyr have this strong start, is there potential for him to make moves? I mean, are we going to see action coming over towards the mid? You know, what do you do with such a good start that you had top as T1?
You can rotate to the mid lane, though. There's a ton of kill potential, especially with the siege creep approaching. Dragonite about to hit level 6, has enough mana sustain with the Soul Ring, so potentially a kill there. But what he's doing right now is just giving XP to Broodmother, because he set him off for a really good start.
Yeah. No, he really did. Cuckoo is going to be very, very happy with this. You know, top CS. Now able to start putting the pressure into the tower. And
Monet's gone.
Just still he's looking a bit lost. Where does he? He's just got to hit the jungle creeps, right?
He has to. Right now, he was just leeching XP until he got that level 4, gets the Conjure Image, and now starts the jungle. Top lane gone. Once the top tier 1 tower falls, it gives Broodmother even more space to play the jungle. So he might be able to go inside it, might be forced to go inside the triangle and farm there.
See around the mid lane as well, Zephyr. He did grab himself an Invis rune, sentry laid down by Aster though, so they'll be ready for him heading in. Zephyr just making the walk through the jungle, seeing if he can potentially find Monet and put pressure on. Meanwhile, on the bottom half here, 23 Savage did sort of have a similar struggle at the start in regards to CS. He's level with CS as Monet. So definitely going to be a game where, you know, the eyes are going to have to be on these offlaners, as they're going to become quite the beast. XXS still a little bit, well, quite a bit behind Cuckoo with the way they split the XP. You know, Cuckoo already level 6. He's got those spiders building up. XXS, he's only just about to hit the 5. So without a doubt,
Big
Cuckoo
difference.
just leading this game, yeah, with a huge charge.
Yeah, and we can see, yeah, I said the TB needs to be in a triangle. He was sitting there until the creeps respawn because Lina was farming it, and now they put the Mars on the top lane. Like, this is their only option. I've seen a lot of Mars just keeping the casual Ring of Health. This time around, upgraded to Hood of Defiance. Wants to be able to take it, and he even puts up another point in God's Rebuke. Land him.
Oh, he's dead. Easy kill here for Cuckoo. I mean, but it doesn't seem like a fun next game to play. You know, Lanham very much struggling anytime he comes near Zephyr or Cuckoo. These heroes deal with him very easily.
Yeah, usually when I see Lanham, he goes Nyx. This time around, it's just a sad Nyx. And they collapse on the mid lane. Cuckoo, I love this rotation. Goes to the mid lane. Same goes for Zephyr. He's lurking around the mid lane. They want to secure this tower. Dragonite can tank all the damage pretty much. Such a good game from T1.
Dire's middle
At 23 Savage, he understands there is going to be some kind of rotation to the bottom lane. I better TP to the top, get the XP. Mars can't kill me unless I really mess up.
Regeneration.
Oh, man, as you say, this Cuckoo Brood, he's all over the place. You know, this is not your stationary Brood. He's from top lane to mid, and as you expected, you know, into this triangle. This is, you know, he's just pretty much taken over the whole map. And then, you know, if you're Aster, how do you play against this? Do you have to sort of group up and try and hunt down the Brood? What's the best move for Aster right now?
They need to use Arena if they want to catch the Brood. Here we go, Arena drop.
Laguna and the spear, that'll do it. I throw everything down here onto Cuckoo, but he got down to a neutral creep, Lacoste.
Oh!
Oh!
So nothing.
Oh no! Well, there we go. Oh no!
At least he doesn't get a free TP.
I guess. Yeah, but yeah, that's definitely a bit of a rough ending to that one there for Aster. Not even getting the kill. Oh no!
And they need to set up some vision in the triangle, the Radiant Vision, to be able to just, like, there is one ward on the high ground, but maybe one deeper one, just to be able to allow Cuckoo to play more aggressive, because that is gonna, you know, set it.
See, so far, you know, coming up the sort of carry matchup still. 23 Savage with nearing a 1k advantage against Mono. Still going to be a very slow ramp up here for the Terrorblade. White right down now, bottom, trying to find his level 6.
Terrorblade doesn't feel really like a carry right now. Needs he has the same amount of farm as Enchantress pretty much. So yeah, position for Terrorblade coming into your pubs.
As definitely the scarier of the two right now, with how much pressure this Enchantress has put on 8. He's out of that top half of the map. He's down towards bottom. TP's coming in. Carl He's going to be able to TP in, open up with Dragon Tail Stone onto White Album. If they've got enough burst, they have their fingers up. That's going to be White Album gone. Getting a little too close there to them as Carl pretty much TP's right in front of the face of White Album, and he's not able to get away in time. An easy catch and kill there for T1 on the defense.
Aster still needs to get a single kill on the board, unfortunately for them. Yeah, it's about that mental game, Owen, where neutral creep stole it, mid lane, Aster.
Going in for success. He's got the backup of Mon. That's not going to be anything that helps XXS here. He cannot save him another game. Yeah, 5 for 0.
Both of his abilities used, didn't have anything left to give. This Enchantress has been very active early on. They've been controlling the jungle. And something that I mentioned, you know, the Cuckoo trying to invade the enemy triangle. And here he comes again. Because this is where the most farm comes from for TB.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Absolutely, yeah. Cuckoo can sort of make his presence known around here. Going to cause a lot of issues for the farming pattern that Mono wants to get back in. You see him back at base, deciding where to head out, where is actually going to be safer for him to farm. And it's not an easy decision to make with how much control T1 is just looting across the map in these first opening minutes. Bottom lane, Carl will get caught in the arena, and they'll have to burst for the DK. So again, Aster trying their best here with the group up. They bring the full 5-man down here to get a kill. Ideally, though, for them on top of that, they need to get an objective, and they will start pushing towards the tier 1. Problem is, lane, they're starting to get some pressure onto their own tier 2. 23 Savage and Cuckoo pushing in.
Glyph already used by Team Aster, so they need to force a rotation. Right now, they have way too many heroes at the bottom lane. Like, TB doesn't have a meta. Jackie pause the game.
Oh. Okay. Unpaused.
Apparently, that's allowed. Don't click F9. Oh, when we do not want to test it if we can pause the game.
I don't want to test the F9. Don't press F9.
Hands off keyboard. I'm just using my mouse right now. Some deep vision set by Team Aster. 2 wards, pretty much covering the same spot. They see TP rotations on the outpost possibly, so even if one gets dewarded, the second one will still give you that vision that you need, something that you don't expect. And Cuckoo on the top lane, taking care of the outpost. Hood down, going into pipe to be able to tank up. This is where the most damage is going to come from. Early magic damage from Lina, from Mars, so he wants to be able to tank up his team. They could potentially go inside the pit, like if they get to 2 kills. Right now, Dragonite getting closer to the Blink Dagger, so once he have that, it will be much easier to set things up. There will have that instant initiation.
Go Aster, out on the hunt. They want to find Cuckoo. They want to find that pesky spider. See if they can get the catch on him, Cuckoo. And they've got their read up. The spiders are gone. And Cuckoo, he'll try his best to dodge the spells. We'll dodge a fair few of them. It's a good effort from Cuckoo, but unfortunately for him, not enough to save his life. As Aster, they'll be able to take him out once again.
Yeah. They need to be playing around the Broodmother. Broodmother is super tanky. If there's one stun, pretty much one spell that can keep them in place, possibly Lion, and here we go. Smoke coming out from T1, 23 Savage, Mask going into Yasha, SNY, just to have that status resistance against all of these stuns. White Album, that's full, Yule's done.
And he's going to be heading back, won't be caught off by this movement. Heading back to refill the mana. Won't find anything with the smoke T1. Cuckoo back in action, ready to start putting the pressure on in the middle lane. Monet finally finding himself some good space down bottom, but still needs a fair bit of time. A lot of recovery still needed here from Monet's Terrorblade to catch up to the likes of Cuckoo and, of course, 23 Savage, who's having a fantastic recovery after what was a tough laning stage for him, at least, that Aster did put against the Morphlane.
So far, 23 Savage has been farming, not involved in a single kill. Once he has that SNY done, status resistance is going to be great. They don't have that real save, like they don't have a saving tool, they don't have a Glimmer Cape, nothing, Nature Attendance, not even skilled. For the Enchantress, Zephyr wants to be able to scale, and he's going to become like that another core from position 4 once he gets the items.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Of course, even able to grab some of these TB illusions, get them to farm for himself. You've got to watch out for Zephyr's potential as the game goes on, as we've already seen 3-0-1, a very good start to the game here from the Enchantress. It's Aster and T1 getting close to one another again. Cuckoo setting out Spider here, lone scout Spider to get some information. We'll die for it, but it's valuable information the young baby Spider gets for the team.
Lanham thought that they were doing Roche. Will bring numbers, take back the outpost, so they get some extra XP. T1 kind of slowed down the game a bit after those 2 deaths on Cuckoo. They do not want to risk too much. Is there a smoke available? There is one. I guess they're just waiting Carl to finish off the creeps on the mid lane, and they're gonna smoke.
They know that there's going to be the temptation from Aster with the ult back online to group up and try and hunt down someone. T1 want to be the first to strike, and they catch Lanham. The core kills. He is Nyx is out, and now down the mid. See what sort of pressure they can put on with the Nyx assassin going. Just losing a component of Aster's setup and team fight might be enough to really make Aster think twice about how they want to fight here.
It seems like they don't want to go.
Yeah.
Might go inside the pit. Like, they have enough damage, they have enough sustain coming up from the Morphling with the spiders. So it's gonna be it. Mars getting closer to his Blink Dagger. That's gonna be their form of initiation. White Album, however, I've seen pretty much every single Lina going for more of a right-click oriented build. This time around, he wants to get Ether Lens. Just more cast range. Zephyr, nice tornado there on pretty much everyone, slowing them down. Roche dropping low.
Yeah, T1, are they going to get away with this? It looks like they will. Aster not able to step over in time. As, there we have it. Aegis picked up by 23 Savage. Now he's going to be feeling even more safe as he gets that build up towards the E-Blade.
E-Blade against T-Blade, very effective. You can easily blow him up. Always going to be that threat, especially amplify the damage coming out from your Lion.
Radiant huge amounts of burst. I mean, of course, trying to build up his health pool here. Monet getting the yes and white after Dragon Lance. He'll have a good amount of strength, good amount of HP. But yeah, still that overwhelming burst. Probably going to be too much for him to deal with. And as of the moment, no sort of defensive items or capabilities from the rest of Aster. So if they do find the focus onto Monet, it's going to be rather hard for Aster as a team to keep Monet alive if T1 find their target.
Everyone's itemizing more for themselves in this game. You have Phoenix going for the Spirit Vessel to be able to go through the stankiness of a Morphling, Dragonite, even Broodmother once she uses that insatiable hunger. And Nyx Assassin, that's just a classic Lanham build. Falcon Blade, position 5. Does not get more greedier than that. I don't think you can even, you know, maybe Hand of Midas is a bit greedier, but it's up there.
I mean, it's yeah, definitely one of those items that you find there's just some pro players that they just love it. Like support, they'll be building Falcon Blade. Doesn't matter how the game's going. They sort of just see it as a crucial part of their hero's build-up.
Yeah, that's what Lanham has been doing. I don't think anyone else is being as greedy as he
just Lanham.
It's Lanham. Like he plays Abba, position 5, phase boots pretty much every single game. Orb of Corrosion. He wants to go in, get those right clicks going.
Tower is under attack.
Main tier 2 tower going down here. And the proper fortification.
Are fortified.
T1 they don't want to stick around though.
I guess they give it to Phoenix, but knowing Lanham, like he wants to get the hands on the precious. Yeah, Lanham is like Golem, dude. Like for gold, he wants all the gold in the map. Look at him, like he's taking this safe farm right now.
Wants to get his Blinky Lanham, but still quite a bit away. XXS gonna drop the arena onto Zephyr. No, he's gonna have quite a burst. Zephyr's pretty. He is. He's gonna start walking this off. 23 Savage turning into the Mars there to blast him back. It's gonna give Zephyr the space to get out of there. So for Aster, that's an arena put to waste. And so that could be a cooldown that T1 could look to play around and abuse, of course. 23 Savage still with a good bit of timing on the Aegis.
23 Savage turned into... Yeah, 23 Savage turned into Mars, just use the voice line, "This is Dota," after they failed to kill Enchanters. I love it.
That's smart stuff. That is smart stuff. I mean, with just 20 minutes, not a lot of kills, not a lot actually, it's just 6 to 2. It's all in all, just huge control of T1 in this game. And as you say, well, this is going to be a bit rough for Aster. Right? Aster, they've got to try and pick themselves up, because the first game you play, if you're having this sort of slow start and tough opening, it's not going to be great news for you going into the rest of the series, the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. The first, they don't get to play many games, like compared to some other teams that played like 15 games or whatever. They know, and some of these teams didn't play in a very long time. Like last games were in a month. They definitely played some scrims, but yeah, I don't know how good draft meta they got right now, because this is the Aster meta shifted a bit. Like we see these Dragon Knights Axes being played on a safe lane. Aster pretty much with their standard lineup, you know, they have this Mars plus a Phoenix, Lina, standard stuff. Now they're knocking on their tier 3s. There's still 50 seconds left on Aegis.
Let's see how much T1 can get away with here. Monet houses progress looking. SNY done 1500 onto the sky, so still a bit of time before it's going to be 2 hours turning up, and already there's the jump straight in. They blow up Lanham. And looking over what's going to take us as well. Lanham buying back here to try and stop any further diving here from T1. Pressure teammates to place their down the turn for the good up. They're able to blow it up at a time that 23 Savage is going to be pretty happy of. Gets the use out of it before it expires. Take the tower.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Got a little bit of time left on the Elder Dragon form. They want to try and get in onto the rack. But looks like T1 will play it safe. They know they've forced back the whole squad of Aster. T1, they're happy with taking the tower and just looking to continue to play this game out slowly and safely. EKB done on 23 Savage, so he's going to be pretty much impossible to blow up unless they get that initial opening stun. He's going to look invincible in these team fights. As Aster they'll start to step out to the base, but what do they do?
They need this, I think, next set of items for themselves. Lina has 2,000 gold saved up, going for a Blank Dagger. Interesting, but like, you don't really scale. He also didn't go, oh no, he didn't go for the damage talent, went for Dragon. That's the talent so underwhelming compared to the other one. Like, if you want to go for this type of a build, like if you want to go more Spellcaster, you still want to take the damage talent.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. What? Just because of the fact that you are a hero that has an inbuilt steroid with a fiery soul attack speed, that you're just always going to do more damage just flat out with that. Having the lower cooldown on your nuke is it's never going to be as good.
Stun? Where's the Hex?
Gonna try and get the stun on 23 Savage, but Lanham's looking pretty dead. XXS is jumping, but he gets Hex. They save the Hex here for XXS, draining the man well. He'll get the spear up onto Zephyr, but 23 Savage can't. BKB's just push up forward to take down the Mars. They're trying to get a fight going, but T1's just fully prepared for them there. Great stuff from Whitemon, just keeping the Hex ready for the Mars. And Aster, they're really struggling. 9 for 2 against them. They're down 10k here, 23 minutes in. T1, I mean, I don't think they could have turned up to this major in any better form here. This is top stuff here from T1.
Yeah, great initiation on Hex XS. There we go, with a bit more control, and I don't think they have enough damage. Like 23 Savage feels very confident going in. They even have like a semi-saving tool, 20 Holy Locket charges on the Enchantress. This item has been more popular lately. If you have a heal, you can buy that item. The item went pretty much from Holy Locket to Holy Shit Locket, because it's that good.
No, it was one of those items that you sort of forgot was in the game for a long period once it was added. Definitely in a much better place right now, as we're seeing. These Enchantresses, Phoenixes, still want to get their hands on the locket.
Super tanky, just keeping a casual ring of protection plus a raindrop, has a magic resistance talent on top of Hood plus a pupil's gift.
Yeah.
So super tanky. I don't know if they can even blow her up.
No, and that's why, you know, Zephyr with the gem at this point of the game, he knows that that's in pretty safe hands on himself. He's going to look for the jump, and he's going to get the stun up onto XXS. Lanham, Hex into the stun for 23 Savage. That's Lanham gone. XXS will lay down the arena, but there's no point in the end. They do have the supernova going off for the high ground. The stun will buy a bit of time for XXS, not enough. XXS still dies. They'll jump in with the Laguna, but it's not enough. Burst, 23 savages, fine. Turn our attention back in. Carl will instantly get used by White Album. Carl won't be able to get the jump on him. Again, Aster just losing fight after fight.
Quick reaction there from White Album to be able to, like, he precast the Yule Scepter on a Dragonite. If Dragonite gets the stun, he's pretty much dead. White Album. This is why Lion, Shadow Shaman are so good against Nyx Assassin. Even if you get the Carapace, like he can't follow it up, or you can surprise him with that instant initiation. He goes in, great play from 23 Savage, turns into Nyx Assassin, and then gets a 2-man stun, burns some of the mana. Like, none of the heroes like to play into mana burn, especially TB. He wants to be able to get that Sunder off, has a magic wand, so potentially there is a turnaround play, but needs to be very careful about it. They still didn't take those melee barracks.
They might have a chance of off now. Good timing still on the outer drag form. XXS will jump with the initiation, but White Monster with the counter comes with the Hex onto the Mars. They're trying to burst through Carl, and this time they're able to do so. Aster to bring down the DK. They can catch more XXS. He's got the arena down onto Zephyr. Do they have the burst for this man? Light Strike Array down onto the Enchantress. They'll pin it to the wall. 1H trying to get out of this. And Zephyr, he's still alive. Buxton, he's out. He's past the Holy Lock. He's going to live. Monet dies. The 23 Savage is in with the BKB. The burst is there for Whitemon. As they may have killed the DK, but they lose Monet, and they can't get anything more than the Dragon Knight, not even this Enchantress, as we see everything thrown down onto Zephyr. It's not enough.
That med barracks is just not going down, and as you said, Zephyr way too tanky with his Iron Belt now going into mech. They might need another form of a Dispel. I would love to see a Holy Locket being built against the Fiery Spirits, against the Sunder, great, and also against the Spirit Vessel, because Spirit Vessel kind of ruins all 4 heroes, everything except Lion. Now they're gonna go inside the pit. That's the second Roche, the most important Roche in the game. Cheese plus Aegis on top of the shard. Scan used by Radiant. Aster, they're not even close.
No, there's no chance of getting here in time. It's T1 continuing to just pull out a very smart performance here. Not leaving any chances for Aster to really get themselves back in on this. It's looking almost impossible, really, for something to happen to allow us to turn this one around. It's going to rely on sort of T1 diving or making too much of an aggressive move, but as we've seen with the restraint that they've shown, slowly chipping away at these mid racks. You know, this team, T1, they're not going to make that sort of mistake.
Now, T1 is playing extremely cautious this game. They don't want to risk too much. Shards picked up by Lion and also by a Broodmother, so Silken Bola AoE spell and mischance to 80%. Like, it's literally 8 out of 10 attacks, which is pretty insane. But to go back to Lion, I think this shard is extremely good. You're caught inside the arena, you use mana drain on multiple targets, you kill TB illusions with it. They have no abilities that go through magic immunity, so he's gonna be fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be huge. I mean, we're seeing the way he's trying to play against XXS. It's going to be such a nuisance. You know, XXS, of course, not with the biggest of mana pools. He jumps in, one disable, you know, Hex into the mana drain, and by the time the Hexes come to an end, it's very likely that XXS, he's just not going to be able to get his combo off because of all the mana that Whitemon's been able to take away from it.
I've seen so many Lions just jumping in, using the mana drain on multiple targets, being magic immune. They group around him, try to kill him, and then like some of the big spells land. Like, let's say you have a Mars plus Lion, then Arena, or anything that you know, has big AoE. Right now they don't have that one ability, but still very, like, one of the best shards in the game. I feel like I say that quite a lot, but it definitely is one.
Alright, Scotty done. On his way towards the BKB. We have seen Terrorblade win some very tough games. This one would definitely be one of the tougher ones if Monet's able to swing this one around. Down a fair amount, and a lot resting on his shoulders. Of course, right behind him is White Album, going for this incredibly elusive build. The bots, the Yules, the Blink. He's all over the place, but of course with this sort of build, if they do get on top of him, he's going to be in a whole world of pain. Yeah, there's not going to be any saving this Lina if you know, Carl Whitemon catches him with a stun.
A lot of mobility items. He also invested into Boots of Travel, not really utilizing the item too much because their pickoff potential is so good. You have Lion with the Blink Dagger, you play on the other side of the map, and here we come again. They want to get this mid barracks so badly. Aegis Plus, also, Eye of Scotty on Morphling.
That's huge. Cheers, 23 Savage. How can they stop him? Of course, Monet wanting to refrain from TPing back to try and get as much of his BKB farmed up, but now with the pressure out, they still want to do their best at keeping these melee racks up. The fortification comes out. A couple more hits here from Savage. In fact, just the one will do the job. There we go. And they could go for more with this. They still have good time left on the Elder Dragon form. They're ready to sweep straight round towards the bottom. Aster, they weren't able to defend mid. Are they actually going to be able to defend bottom? Jumps in a great zone, ready to start off the action. White Album just gets destroyed. They blocked the lead. They had to buy back straight away. In with the egg. Savage and Cuckoo starting to back off. They'll get the large striker rate down to 23. They still got that Aegis.
Nice
They'll
spear.
burst in the one. See if they can go for round 2 on the ball. 23 Savage is coming up. Large strike array is timed. Kyle jumps in with the stun onto Monet. Again, we've seen White just draining mana, stopping them from being able to really make much moves at all. White Album tries for the setup onto Kyle, but there's going to be no follow-up. They've got to reset, get themselves back to base here, Aster. They'll keep the bottom racks and tier 3 alive for now, but a costly defense, of course. White Album, the mid, having to buy back for that fight as Aster just continue to fall financially further and further behind.
They will go back. They need to reset their BKBs. They need the Dragon form. Even though meta is down, they managed to get that buyback out of White Album, which is a pretty big one. And you can still see them respecting the damage coming out from the Terrorblade once he's in the meta. I want to see this Holy Locket. I want to see this item being picked up so that they have another way of dispelling things.
Yeah. No, for sure. And we'll see 23 Savage sort of adapting the build a bit. He's got himself a blink, so more of a chance of getting in, being able to get that first hit down onto heroes like White Album's Lina. Because he knows now at this stage, if he can jump in, commit, blow up the Lina, the game is probably going to come to an end, as there will be, of course, no buyback left on White Album.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Here comes Dragon Knight. That's a ton of damage on the tower.
Dire's
Already
bottom
gone?
tower has fallen.
Yeah, the Rack's not standing much of a chance either, as they get the jumping onto Lanham. Trying to heal him up with the Sunray, but there's the burst from 23 Savage. Lanham's gone. Has got a buyback, but no chance of getting here in time before the bottom Rack's full. A second set taken by T1. 23 Savage ready to lead the charge straight up to the top lane. So they know that there's very little that Aster can do to hold them back.
Meta back up in 35 seconds, but they need to hold. Mars.
That's the easiest they can blow Carl. Get the thing there, able to take down Carl. 23 Savage is in with the BKBs, focusing down the egg. Not quite able to take it out though. The egg will survive. 23 Savage still able to pop the cheese, turn into one ball racks. Lanham has got enough control on 23 Savage. Over to the side with the wave, but 23 Savage turns to the next assassin. Gets the stun off one of the two of them. He's good enough to strike. 23 Savage is still alive. Cuckoo in with the damage to blow Lanham and Lanham on. 23 Savage, he's still surviving though. He's out to the side. They can't kill this more. Carl's buying back to get back over to rejoin the fight. Whitemon standing his ground here, draining the mana. He will die for it, but now XXS and Monet, no mana to play with. If T1 see a chance to get back in on them. Of course, Aster now down 2 heroes without buyback. For the defense, T1, they want to keep pressuring this. As this push to lead them towards the Megas.
This is going to be the Mega Creeps, because Enchantress pretty much healed him back to full HP. He shift everything to Agi. Good stun by DK.
He comes into the front lines to try and start a defense, but immediately blown up. XXS gone. Monet also out, and they'll tap it. They'll tap out here. GG is called as T1. I don't think they could have had a better opening here to their showing at the Major. This game 1 looked as good as it gets when it comes to the Dota from them. 19-6, 22k lead, 33 minutes in. That was pretty much flawless, the cost. There wasn't any mistakes.
Couple of early mistakes, but those didn't matter that much. This couple of early mistakes, but those didn't matter that much. This Broodmother last pick, Cuckoo, he improved his Broodmother so much, even though like those two deaths didn't mean that much, but you can see that he is playing much better after killing the tier 1 tower on the top lane. They completely dumpstered it. He rotates to the mid lane. Him and Zephyr on the Enchantress taking control of the jungle, collapsing on the mid tower, and then the map opens up. TB couldn't find any space to farm.
Yeah, and I mean, on the side of things from Aster, this first game, a very rough entry here into the series from them. I mean, does this sort of surprise you, or are they struggling with some of the things that you've seen them struggle with before? Or, what's going on with this game on performance from them?
I think they need to adapt more to like what teams are playing right now, like what they've been playing throughout the wildcard, throughout the group stage, because they seem to be playing the same heroes and the same style, but the game kind of shifted a bit. And T1, they're the strongest team in Southeast Asia, and they showed that in the second season. But enough of our talk. I want to see what our beautiful panel has to say about this game.
Thank you very much, Lacoste. And I definitely want to talk about exactly what you were talking about, and that is going to be adaptation. But first, we just got to give kudos to T1.
Yeah.
I mean, this is exactly how you want to start off the day, just hot and fresh out the kitchen. You got Mama rolling that body. Again, every single team in the venue wishing that they were you. That's not a remix. That's just simply ignition. And it looks like they might be able to go straight to the moon. So the question is, how were they able to do it? We hear Lacoste talking about adaptation. He doesn't feel like Aster really learned much from the group stage. He doesn't feel like Aster has really changed that much as a team. Do you think, in contrast, T1 has?
Yeah, I think that's, we're coming back over here, and I think that's the biggest thing to point out is we see a DK first 2 pick. We see Aster bust out their tried and tested like staple from the circuit. They do this Terrorblade pick, but it's not a response, or it's not an adaptation to what we've seen throughout the group stage. They even pick the Nyx Assassin. I've seen this a lot now from teams. Picking the Nyx in your secondary draft phase versus a DK. You know the pace that they're going to look to play on, and you know that they're going to look to play together, and you still pick a pickoff hero that doesn't work well versus it at all. So I feel like this was just perfect adaptation by T1, and Aster didn't adapt at all from what we learned. They just went for their old stuff.
This is exactly like the most exciting thing that we were talking about the day as well. We start to see all these teams that are in the upper side of the bracket that we haven't had a chance to look at yet. And now we start to see what have they been learning over the past few days. And my question for you is, when you see a team like Aster where maybe we don't see those adaptations, do you think that they're the type of team that can make these big changes in the middle of a series?
Yeah, I think you just have to respect the meta heroes a bit more. I think the fact that they allowed the Morphling to go through is relatively... It's such a huge mistake in the draft for me, because first off, it's one of 23 Savage's best heroes. So it's like a 5-pronged mistake is what I was trying to think of here. It's one of 23 Savage's best heroes. It's really good against Terrorblade. It's good in lane versus Mars. They needed a survivable carry that could like do his own thing, because they had a lot of like aggressive heroes like the Enchantress and the DK are going to want to do their own thing and not going to rotate. And now they get this last pick Brood because Aster spent their entire draft responding to the Morphling. Like they saw and they go, okay, we need to threaten this guy. Get the Lina, get the Nyx. We need to allow him to not farm. And then what happens is the Morphling, you've addressed it, but then now you have this other hero that you haven't addressed at all, and the Broodmother, who's been the most popular pick, one of the highest win rates in all the tournament. And then you just have, there's just too much that they needed to do with too little resources to do it.
Yeah, and I think that the 2 picks for me really set it up for success for the Morphling. It's DK and Broodmother. What other heroes would you like to play? Like, if you're playing carry, tell me like your 2 best space makers for you. Broodmother draws so much attention to her. DK, no matter what matchup you've been in that I've seen lately versus mid, you're gonna win. I even saw like the Lina was pulling ahead slightly, but it didn't matter. DK still has the same purpose. You pull so much attention, you take objectives, and then Morphling just plays his own game. 23 Savage is able to just show up whenever he wants to with just crazy items and crazy net worth. It looked easy. It looked like a cakewalk really for T1.
That was the thing that's so crazy about it. I don't think anyone expected this game to look so easy. And also what you guys mentioned before, like 23 Savage. You talked about him a lot. Now, when we actually do look at this game, what can Aster do to try to prevent 23 Savage from just playing his game again?
I'm telling you, there's just certain heroes you can't give to certain players, and it's just a perfect Morphling game for a guy that's platinum tier or master tier Morphling. You can give him Morphling if it's like a first-round pick similar to the Terrorblade, where you got 3 picks to deal with it. But I think they were playing so much catch-up, because you even mentioned the Terrorblade pick. Is it particularly good against Enchantress and DK? These are 2 heroes that are really good against right clicks. You can't attack the Enchantress, and DK's got a bajillion armor. So it not only is he getting a really good game on 23 Savage, but you also put your own carry, Monet, in kind of an awkward spot where Enchantress, yes, she's a single target, so you'd think illusion heroes would be good against her, but you saw she was just enchanting the Terrorblade illusions and farming. And I think he was like 3-0-10 or something at the end of the game on Enchantress, and that's a first round Enchantress. Another hero we've been seeing pop up a lot in so far this tournament.
Yeah, I think I touched on Zephyr for like the pre-draft panel because he's been the most impressive player for me that's improved in the last 2 years. He knows exactly where to be on the map. He knows exactly how to bully the carries. That's what he did this game. He was a bully. Monet's like, I'm leaving lane. Screw this. This Enchantress Brood is ruining my life. He runs to jungle, and guess what he finds? An Enchantress chasing him with the creep, impetusing him, setting him down to 20% life while he's even attempting to get free farm in there. So, yeah, really good stuff from T1. Great pressure. And again, it's adaptation and playing the draft and playing the speed that we've seen from this group stage. It's speed constantly. This was a greedy draft by Aster. They go for Nyx, they go for Phoenix, they go for weaker lanes, and they got punished for it. They have to bring it back and just pick their flavor that's stronger in lanes. They have to go for this Treant Protector. I know that Abaddon was banned early on, but I think they have to go back to that style because you can't lose your lanes like this and expect to come back in the game. And just now, no way you give Brood. I think you've now seen it. Lacoste mentioned it multiple times. Kuku's improved a lot. I watched some sick spider micro. He was blocking ancient camps with individual spiders, preventing Monet from getting any farm. This was a top-tier Brood performance, which I did not expect coming out from Kuku.
Yeah, Brood was one of the first heroes that I brought up in the morning. Starting to ask questions on whether or not we could see it in this first game. We were talking about some of the most contested heroes now that we've made it through wildcards, made it through groups, and finally we're here at the playoffs. And we weren't sure if we were going to see it. And a pleasant surprise, to say the least. And I think you were really the one who hit it on the head as well when you were looking at just the Brood just being that smoke and mirrors at the beginning of the game to let 23 on the morph just do everything that he needed to do.
And they got it last pick. Like, you got a Brood last pick in this tournament when it's been banned. We were mentioning, 69 games, like 80% plus of the games in this tournament, it's been banned, it feels like, in the first two. It's not like it gets banned 3-4. It gets banned right away. They got a last pick Brood.
It's not just that it's a last pick Brood, but so the reason why the Brood was so crippling is because the guy that's supposed to be pressuring on the map, making plays happen, is the Mars, and he's also the only one that can clear spiders. So you saw him have a hood, level 4, so he's pretty farmed in comparison to his own level at 7 minutes in the game, now sitting underneath his own tier 2 top lane. And it's like, where not only are they getting ran at by this Enchantress, the Brood's consuming the map. He rotated the mid lane. It took it like 8 minutes into the game, and your Mars is now sitting underneath your tier 2 top. It's like, the map momentum is just gone. You lose it all. And you can see that there were no kills. It was 6-2, I think, when they went high ground in terms of kills. And it looks like, oh, this looks like a farm fest. And as a viewer, why is there no kills? Well, T1 doesn't have to kill you. And Aster has such a greedy lineup, like you mentioned, that they can't kill anyone. It's kind of a weird situation. Usually it's like a stalemate between the two teams that are like, yeah, we are truce. We don't want to do anything. You guys are scary. But in this case, one team was just in complete control the entire time.
I love the finesse and precision. I think that's the biggest thing from T1. It was this clear objective that they wanted. Take tower top, 7 minutes, swing mid, take tier 1 mid, 8 minutes, take over enemy triangle. How do you play Terrorblade? If you didn't crush the bottom lane and Terrorblade can't take over the enemy jungle, he has absolutely nowhere to go. So T1 just played a perfect strategical game for me.
Yeah, it's just such a perfect first game. But that's all it is, right? It is just the first game. We've made that departure from all of the best of twos. They can come back in this one. They can find a way to come back in this one, Team Aster. And the question is whether or not they are going to be able to do it. I mean, we talked about this region so much on the way over here, and this is the region that really everybody was looking at. Are they going to be the best region? When we were going through groups, LGD very quickly was the team that everybody was talking about. Vici looking fantastic as well, even making it out of wild cards. The conversation starts between Vici and LGD, but everybody knew Aster was waiting in the wings. We didn't expect them to fall short necessarily in this series, but when we talk about a little bit earlier in the year as well, we talk about that first major. Obviously, they weren't able to come. Now that they're here, do you think that they can still finish? Do you think that they can actually grab this series win based off of what you saw?
I think that the last pick Brood really just ruin their game plan because they have the pick off to deal with the morph. That was the last 2 picks. And they also have like the wave clear of the Terrorblade and the Phoenix. So if you think about them getting out of the lanes normally, their game plan makes sense.
For sure.
But it just all goes to shit, really. Yeah. And it looks like they're scrambling all across the map. And they just can't put the right heroes where they want to. And I think if you were to run this game back, 10th pick ban was Brood, or like they banned the Brood before the 10th pick, we could see a completely different game.
Agreed. I think it changes the entire dynamic of the game when your Terrorblade doesn't get to play Terrorblade. He literally didn't get to do anything.
I don't feel like anybody got to play anything. Mars got to sit underneath his tier 2. Terrorblade didn't get to hit creeps. The supports didn't have anyone to play around. Lena had to go blink Ether Lens to maneuver the map. I mean, that just on paper sounds like a build that you do not want to go if you don't have to.
Yeah, very, very important. Very important. I don't know why I was looking at chat and they were saying that you were eating copium, but no, it's ram. It's a ramen.
Yeah.
I don't
ramen.
understand why they're saying that.
It's very strange.
Yeah, it's super strange. Especially, I mean, I don't know if you know this, but there's just a very small probability that 2 users of Twitch could use the same combination of characters, resulting in having the exact same message. But alas, we're here. And funny enough, we also saw that same strange phenomena, which very rarely does happen in Twitch chat. We saw it happening during that series, and I think a lot of people are getting pretty excited to see what T1 can do. Do you think that they could close it out in a 2-0?
Yeah, I do think so. They look super prepared.
Prepared is the best word.
Yeah. I'm always super impressed when I see such a clean game. It's just like nobody's really dying out of position. Cuckoo's 2 deaths that he had, they're fine. One of them was even a neutral death. He got a little lucky on that one. But either way, the way that they play the map was pristine. And I love when I see preparation. When you have that much time, when you have a day off, that's the kind of performance you want to start with, because that puts fear into the enemy's hearts too. Like Aster's probably looking, they're like, well, we gotta completely switch everything now. We can't go back to our normal. We have to look at what teams are actually doing in the group stage in wildcard.
We haven't talked about the stakes either when we actually do get into this first series, because you come in the first day of playoffs and you're like, okay, everything's going to be chill. You're in the upper bracket. These teams can lose. They're going to be getting their footing. A lot of the teams obviously haven't played yet in the tournament because they got straight in, whether it was from the DPC League or they have played a whole bunch and we've seen a lot from them. But you don't expect the stakes to immediately be present. When we look at T1, they don't need that many more points. If they're able to take this, it's going to give them a lot of DPC points because they just jump forward in the upper portion of the bracket and they can just get that spot at TI right here and right now.
Yeah, it's over, right? If they get their secure top 6.
They're one more game away.
And that's good enough.
They are one more game away now. T1 in this next game could legitimately lock up their spot into TI. And that is a pretty crazy thing to start with.
I'll even mention, I remember watching Gunner, one of our NA buddies, when he was playing with 23 Savage back at TI9 qualifiers. They were up 2-1 in that best of 5 to go to TI. So 23 Savage, a little bit less on the line for this specific series, but he's been one game off of TI twice before, and now he's there again. So let's. I want to see him close it out.
Yeah, and we might actually see that. We talked about some of the tweaks that we need to see from Aster. You talk about that adaptation a whole bunch, the fact that you feel like they really do need to adapt and they have to do it mid-series. But when we do look at T1, we don't expect them to get a last pick Brood this time around, obviously. They found that opening. They were able to take advantage of it, and they do get that first game. What do you want to see from them to enable 23 Savage yet again?
I'm so fine with them. Even this DK pick, I think it's such a good flex pick right now that it does the same type of pressure. Because let's say it's like a DK off lane, they picked a different hero mid after they saw Lina, they have a better matchup. Could see something similar play out, not as one-sided for sure, but I do think that T1 has those elements for them. They've shown that they did their homework, so I expect them to have more than just, hey, we got Broodmother. That was a last pick Brood. They already had a good draft without it, but I think they're going to have much more ideas because I don't think you expect to get that last pick Brood.
Yeah, I just love how you framed it though. Just the idea of it's perfect to create the space for the Morphling. Let 23 do what he needs to do. It was obviously the player that you guys put under the spotlight before this series even did start. With Aster, there's a whole bunch of talent on that roster, right? We can talk about pretty much any individual name, but with T1, the player that's getting all of the spotlight right now really does feel like it is 23 Savage.
I just think the carry matchup is really important in this series more so than any other. I've also been seeing the majority of teams save their carry until super late. Terrorblade, yes, his stock is rising. I know his win rate was quite high, but I don't think we've seen a first-round Terrorblade this entire series, this entire tournament. It's always been fourth, fifth pick Terrorblades, and that I do believe that is the simplest fix that Aster can go for, and I think T1 can assume that they're going to make that adjustment, and they should be wary that if they do bring the same opening, that they might, maybe get a later Ursa pick or something that might deal much better with the Enchantress DK opening.
I was going to say, I think the Enchantress is something, too, that might be back on the menu completely. I know Kuroki's picking it like every time. He's going beyond godlike in some of these games. I think this hero just might be the other element that teams have to start looking at and being like, maybe this is a first 2 ban. Because it's just, you don't have team fight, sure. But the amount of pressure that you apply inside laning phase and dominance over the map, you don't let the other team play their draft. So I think that's another one that I'm looking at. Because Zephyr, He played it perfect, picture perfect. I don't think you could say a better performance from anybody on Enchantress besides Kuro this tournament. So I think that's the other hero that I'm looking at.
I forget who it was who was saying it was, I think it was AUI. I hope it is because, you know, when AUI says something, I believe it. So, but I'm pretty sure AUI was talking about just how valuable Ench could really be throughout this tournament. I know that he tweeted as well. He had a few heroes that he was tweeting about that he felt like were really undervalued. And I'll pull up that tweet when we get back in the green room because I thought it was really interesting some of the stuff that AUI was starting to see in the meta. And I'll be completely frank, that guy's a 5-head.
Yeah, yes. The Enchantress too was a really interesting one because as soon as we came into the tournament, everyone was talking about Enchantress. Then the first like 2-3 days, there was very little Enchantress picks. Now we're seeing it rising up. Like every time it's there, I'm seeing them just taking it even first two. And even when it's a first two hero, it does so much. You have so many different variety of builds too because of the Holy Locket build. You can go for an enabling build with like Solar Crest and stuff like that. You're just a tough to kill hero that applies so much pressure in lane. I think it's another one that I'm big eyes on.
I want to put our big, beautiful eyes right now on one thing, and that's going to be the draft. We're about to get into game number 2, and keep in mind just how important this one actually is going to be. T1 can lock up their spot to TI with just one more game.
Welcome back to the King's Palace over here, where I have two kings here with me, T Governor and Jenkins yet again. It is time for that.
Có đài bắt ở đây không? 458 đài.
He was actually saying,
458 có đài bắt.
Radiant team, dire team,
so bad. I got gaslit.
dire
Popped
team
off. He
back.
knew exactly what he was doing. And there's nothing we can really about from DPC about T1. That's what they're telling to us.
Not only did your statement not make any sense, not only did you misuse 4 different words, this is the draft panel, not the game review panel. So please, keep your focus to yourself.
10
Jenkins.
seconds
Try to
remaining.
pay attention as we see a Tree of Protector and an Abaddon
5
picked
seconds
up.
remaining.
Yabba Dizzle. When's the last time we saw this, Tiga?
Hero hasn't really
Radiant
been
team
that major.
back.
Like
Dire team
Jenkins
back.
briefly mentioned before. You have to respect T1. Played a draft, which was all about kind of control, 15-20 minute kind of dominance required, and now they come into the second draft with Abaddon, and you go through like the previous draft. Where was Abaddon? Like it pretty much is
10
non-existent.
seconds remaining.
Draft. So they have kind of, you just cannot use previous
5 seconds remaining.
polished. In regards to Aster though, the tree was pretty much kind of still in Aster dominance of the. They were one of the neutralized the Holy Locket build on the tree, buildings. Now they're gonna go for double hills.
Was watching our boy Cuckoo last night.
Okay.
And he was playing Viper clubs, and he was going for the build that Block has. Looks like they some inspiration from their boys.
Radiant
Clear the
team
build of the
back.
Viper, that is the Dragonlance and the Scar.
Dragonlance into Scotty,
the
yeah,
BKB
exactly.
stuff,
That
okay,
sort of kind of right-clicking, ranged, almost mid from the offlane build on the Viper.
It's interesting you say that because ending their draft, they would pick up Abaddon. It's hard to kind of pick, right? And that's why Aster
10
pick double
seconds
healing.
remaining.
But it's not as if you can get like a after
Dire team back.
Viper. This is a hero that can go for Scardy, heal mitigation. And it kind of could be like a pseudo version of what AA brings to the draft. Viper does instead because of the style of playing.
Yeah, and the break as well, just nice. A lot of the toxic
10 seconds
back,
remaining.
even some like a Mars, Dragon Knight, which these are
5 seconds
out.
remaining.
Denies a lot of these here.
But EG tried, I say, to play a carry Viper.
Good effort.
Remind everyone.
And they took that one from Quinn.
Hey.
That's
Oh.
an NA classic,
Wow.
Radiant team
Last
back.
ban is gonna. Oh, Phantom Lancer. I think Abaddon has a lot that he could do. I feel like that hero's a little shape with a Blink
Radiant
Dagger,
team
Dragon
pick.
Knight, and then you can hold on him.
Yeah.
And then that's
Dire
ruined,
team
you know?
pick.
I think also it's a holy lock hero.
Yeah.
Every single hero that can go for a holy locket is valuable. People playing Camp Eon Disc in every single game is better at disengaging the ABBA hero.
Seeing this style,
10 seconds
they're gonna
remaining.
emulate the game one because ABBA, they got Viper, like ABBA
Radiant
helped
team pick.
run down people.
Enchantress.
Enchantress now as well. Like this is gonna be this exact kind of theme, you know, grouping up strong lanes and fight.
Not heroes like want running at you. I mean,
No.
it's hard enough to win a Viper or an Abaddon or an Enchantress.
Dire team
Early
pick.
game on this one. Pretty solid for your standard Mars pick here.
Aster really is showing that they haven't kind of developed from region league. They are sticking to the guns of what they're good at, what brought them here. It can be get you far into a
10
tournament, or it could be your
seconds
biggest.
remaining.
Right now, I'm seeing a lack of development. Coming into game one, I
5
thought, wow,
seconds
this
remaining.
give Aster the win. They can be
Dire
able to
team
find this
back.
space map. They won this so
Behold the Horn of Magnus.
so
okay.
quickly.
I totally agree with the absolutely disgusting fluff panel and Ogden Rick
Yes.
about the fact that this Enchantress hero is something that probably deserves at least be a consideration for a
10
fan,
seconds
because
remaining.
I really think the Holy Locket build on this hero and just running up
5
hills and being
seconds
unkillable
remaining.
and then also playing from the forward position, it's not the same old Enchantress that we played in a total. It does a ton of damage. It's almost possible to kill. It's in the ass. It can actually roam around. In the 5 position, it's a little hard. We're going to roam the enemy. You know, in that role, it's hard to roam. But as a 4, roam on mid, which is exactly what happened in the last game. And now they're letting it happen in time.
They haven't played a carry mag. Do you think that this is
Radiant team ban.
light and then, or is this just gonna classic mid to have like a Juggernaut or some standard style of carry?
I have not seen 23 Savage has exclusively been playing Morphling
10
and
dire
Stepper.
team ban.
So both of those heroes being banned out makes me. What the hell are they going to pick?
What's he got next?
comfortable on?
Yeah.
Like PL banned out as well.
Radiant
You know,
team
it's
ban.
not. There's not much left. At least what spamming right now.
Drafting styles are so
Dire team
Aster.
pick.
It's all about slow pace. They wanna farm for quite some time, then play good.
Radiant team pick.
Not respected. Quite quickly. Lifestealer. This is gonna be a lifestealer most likely who needs starter build. Regards to the game. 3 heroes who can line up. Aladdin can run in.
10
Viper when he gets
seconds remaining.
run in. Lifestealer can run in. Aster has no real kind of gauge to it.
5 seconds remaining.
A lot of good deliveries. Magnus sprinting at them, Abaddon, so pretty scary, and it also limits, I think, what they can pick carry position.
You may now select your heroes.
So okay. So really hard to run into. Basically, delivery system. What if you're delivering it to a hero that just wants to manfight? I mean, that's what Deuce wants. I actually really like this Aster draft, but then again, we like the previous draft
We did,
as well, and that went horribly.
I think the key thing here is T1 style of game. This Medusa pick is very strong from Aster. Eventually, does have issues going into high ground. The way in which T1 was able to put down the
น้ำ
map.
ก็ได้บัตรอะไรเขาผมน้ำแต้มได้บัตรก่อน
You can ease over. Like think about it, it's a Viper offlane into the Medusa isn't gonna have not alone of an empowered lifestealer accelerate his game. Lifestealer's biggest weakness, early items, bad at farming. Magnus will help that. T1 it's all about 20 minutes, close out the map quickly. Try and beat the Medusa before she gets command to butterfly. That's gonna be when will then become a bit more clowny, and you're hoping for like Magnus to skewer her away from the fight, kite her out, kill everyone. That's when it's going to be high skill. But T1, it's about strong farm, early pace, run at you quick.
And Enchantress 4 seems the most impossible hero to lane. I think Viper alone is beatable with Usa, but I think Enchantress plus Viper, oh man.
I think they're gonna run to one lane willingly, like tree, like in all your pubs. Like when there's a tree in.
Oh no, you don't do that. The trees respawn. They've
3 minutes.
Yeah, but they've respawned at a minute. Right at the start.
Yeah, sure.
It takes way too long. It can't do that anymore.
But the meme. Sending a message.
That
It's
is
for TI, Jenkins.
That's fair. Back to you, Sly.
Thank you very much. All right, well, there you go. Quick go into the game, and we will see just how many get. This is TI on the line for T1. Let's see how they do.
This is bullshit.
Here we are again, ladies and gentlemen. Team Aster against T1. I'd say much better draft for Team Aster in this one. A lot of team fight abilities, a lot of ways to disengage the fight. Here I am again with my boy OD Pillow, and we're ready to hop in.
Yeah, what up, Lacoste? Looking for this. Looking forward to this one. Looking forward to at least seeing, if we can get a bit more Dota really just out of Aster. They didn't really get the chance to play at all last game as T1 completely ran them over. But as you say, definitely reason to believe that Aster will stand a chance of at least making this one a little bit closer. That last pick, Medusa, definitely looking like a strong character to rally around. Despite the fact that so many carries were taken out of the pool, I think Mono is still... He's not going to be too disappointed with what he's ended up on. The thing is that how's such things as a laning going to be? Do you like that they've done this from T1, Viper to the off lane, and then Carl on the Magnus in the mid?
I like the Viper plus the Enchantress. I think this lane, like what I want to see from Aster is blocking the big camp. If necessary, go body block it, because Enchantress got so much from the previous game. Got the 2-3 big creeps, and then they just snowballed from there. Lifestealer this time around, he has Empower, something that he struggles with, that Panel talked about, is like getting to his second item, getting that, what he has queued up, just a Bracer and the Phase Boots. Ogre Axe. We've seen more and more Echo Sabers being picked up. It might be a casual Sange. We'll see what he decides to go for. I love Armlet here. They have one instant disable, and that's Lion. I mean, two if you count in Hex and Impale at the same time. I want to see earlier Satanic to be able to deal with the Treant Protector's overgrowth. It's another way of dispelling things. Great against dispelling the silence, which he struggles against. But bottom line, it's gonna be nasty.
Yeah.
Okay, so they decide to swap things around. Never mind.
They did, yeah,
so
but they support. So do you like this? Why have they done this game, do you think?
I think they want to have a stronger support for Lifestealer, because if you have Abba Lifestealer, that doesn't sound too strong, and they also want to put a bit... I think it's just more about securing that Lifestealer's farm.
We'll see if they're able to do that. Of course, last game we did see both carries have a bit of a tough start, tough laning phase. If 23 Savage and Monet can have a bit more of an enjoyable time in the early game this time round. Looking at the mid matchup, now White Album on his DP against the Carl Magnus. You're a melee hero, you're going to get siphoned. I guess you've always got the skewer to get out. How do you expect to see this one going? Can someone get ahead of this matchup?
Magnus so far doing a very good job in terms of CSing, now puts a point in Empower. As you mentioned, like that level 2 Spirit Siphon when it comes online, the extra charge will start to put some more pressure on the Mag. But we've seen so many times in this patch with the addition of the Water Runes where like even weak laners like Tiny was before, like Hero was really not that picked often on a mid lane, and now he seems very viable, like have that constant HP and mana regeneration, skewer back to the tower on the mid lane, good body blocks.
Yeah, some good damage here done by Carl. They'll have another shockwave in a few seconds, but not enough, because one of the strengths there, as we're seeing defensively, White Album is if he does get caught in that sort of position, unlike pretty much any other hero, having the siphons will allow him to offset enough damage to keep him alive.
Lifestealer on half HP. Whitemon will use the healing salve to bring him back to full. So far, decent CS. XXS doing a very good job this game. 16 CS up to hit level 3. Also has the Ring of Health going into Vanguard, which is something that I've not seen.
Yeah, I mean, why do you think he's leaning the way of Vanguard this game? What's he seeing that's making him want to do that?
Maybe just a laning stage against the Lifestealer. Magnus also relies on dealing heavy right-click damage. Might still swap things around. I've seen a lot of Mars picking up a Ring of Health and then just keeping it.
Sure.
They don't necessarily upgrade. You can also disassemble the Vanguard because they don't have too much magical damage. You have Shockwave, you have Viper. Rest is pure damage and the right-click, so I don't think Hood this game is any good.
Where are you going?
See top. Borax. He's going to get taken out here. 23 Savage with the Rage. He can stay on target. Can't get him off him. As first blood this game going to the carry of T1.
Nicely done. This is a huge lead for the top lane. Now sitting at 22 CS and 1 extra kill. Going into phase boots. Like once he gets that, it's going to be pretty hard to run away from him. And he should feel safe on the top lane. I don't think they can him down from 100 to a 0. Mars 1-1-1 build needs to put more points in his aggressive spells.
I'm sure if they want to have any chance of pressuring T1 up here, and just sort of the difference from both carries, it's building up now. You know, Mono, he is having a rougher time down bottom, just a 15 CS. T1, again, you know, early days, but definitely similar size to what we saw last game of T1 just getting a better grasp of the game straight out of the laning stage.
T1's draft heavily focusing on the laning stage. Viper lane dominator. You have Lifestealer against the Mars matchup. You have the Enchantress. Some stacks are being made in the Radiant Triangle. There is one big camp being stacked. I want to see some more, especially if there's not much to do at the top lane. So Borax already going there, trying to stack the big camp. Might be late because he doesn't have Boots of Speed, just the Wind Blaze at the moment.
No, she's done with the stun.
He stunned it from the fog and will be able to stack it.
Yeah.
You need to be careful. Playing into mag, playing into certain heroes like a Lashra, because it will allow them to invade your triangle and possibly get all the gold from it. XXS.
Gonna run him down.
Bonk,
and
bonk.
he's got the backup. Borax in just in time. Is it enough? XXS, he'll live this time, as he is out of there. Very close then. A good job Borax was able to make it over when he did. Borax. Yeah, poked upon as well here by Whitemon. And again, this Enchantress we saw last game definitely being a huge nuisance with it now. You know, Whitemon on this top lane here by the carry. Definitely putting in the work to make sure that 23 Savage has quite a lovely lane to start this game in.
And it's only going to get easier for him, because once the Empower comes online, it's going to be very hard to bring him down. They will need to use like Exorcism, run him down, possibly a Hex, even a Finger. Right now, he's still thinking about his items. He was having like Scott queued up, casual Sange. I think Armlet is the best choice. It's the cheap damage. You build it so easily early on, and then if they don't have enough burst, you can always toggle it. On the bottom, Viper. But for more of a right-click oriented build, decides to buy Band of Elven Skin, so we might see either a Power Treads or a Dragonlance.
With my range.
Oh, for sure, yeah, Dragonlance always feels good. Buffs that it's received always is that nice stat item if he wants to go all the way into that sort of build.
Radiant's
It's
middle
mid lane.
tower is under attack.
Coming over to take the small camp. Whitemon as well, also starting to farm this, or trying to farm at least some of this stack.
This is what I talked about. Empower is maxed out. Now they're gonna try to steal the stacks, but Aster is ready to defend it. He's in trouble.
Oh, Carl. Guys come out, but Carl using the RP to lock back White Album. So it's fine with their ults going down.
Because he used the Exorcism, but someone needs to be on a mid lane and defend this tower. Glyph pop. Carl will pick up a bounty rune, so that will refill his bottle 2/3 of it.
He's trying to come over to maybe start to be a part of the defense, but of course walks straight into a line. Borax waiting on the high ground, him and White Album having the burst to take him out. Aster, though,
He might have done that on purpose, just to mitigate the damage done to the tier 1 tower from the Exorcism. Like, he bought time, and that one death doesn't really matter that much on the top lane. 23 Savage, keeps on farming, so I believe it's all good.
Yeah, I mean, and who could they really move up to this top lane to slow down this lifestealer? It's kind of hard, right? Because it's a solid lifestealer game overall.
It is, looks good until Medusa gets a couple of items, because they don't have too many gap closers. He is pretty much the only one. So Medusa will have a good time once she gets to her second, third item, straight into SNY. After finishing off what seems to be the Dragon Lance, not even full Dragon Lance, needs Ogre Axe.
Still playing the catch-up lane after a tough laning stage for Monet. Started to get pretty close to the top back last game as the TB, but it takes him a lot of time here.
I remember the interview that we had with 23 Savage during the second season. He talked about the Dragon Lance, how it's a great item, you can disassemble it, and he always wants to build it on Medusa. Zephyr, well dropped.
He just sort of walked in and started punching the Medusa. It was a very ambitious effort there. Of course, Monet, he's got backup around him. So Zephyr just ending up sort of handing a bit of golden glory here to Monet. He's going to be very happy with the pattern turning up in that fashion.
Abba position 4 doesn't provide you with anything compared to 5. Like, unless you snowball heavily, unless you get some return kills. In this game, you might have 2 position 5s. Or if you want to shift things around, I think it's much better that Zephyr becomes 5 and Enchantress gets the items, because we saw in the previous game what happens if Ench gets the farm. Unfortunately, they cannot swap the heroes. 9 minutes in, just type -swap hero. Maybe it's possible, Owen. Maybe it's possible. We saw
no one's ever tried it.
The game.
There is the possibility. Until they attempt it, they are going to be stuck, as you say, as they are. So a little bit of a slow start in that sense from the supports, but still the cause, you know, just the fact that T1, 2K lead, 10 minutes in, just able to get that much more from the setup that they've had, and it's ramping up. You know, there's no signs of sort of this lead that T1 have slowing down, which is it's definitely got to be a bit of an issue for Aster. Aster, they lost control of game 1 pretty early on, and they did really struggle to get anywhere close to bringing it anywhere near back into their ballpark.
A difference in this game is they have Abba plus Enchantress, so you can't really make aggressive move. You can park inside, like in front of the tower, but you don't have that much tower damage early on. So Magnus decides to go for a Blink Dagger first item, which I really like, so that's going to give them one way to start a fight, either a Blink RP or casual Blink Skewer, Lifestealer. Something that I noticed about 23 Savage when he's playing Lifestealer is that will not be using Infest as a bomb. Most of the time just wants to be able to save the allied hero, so something to look out for. Very good at it.
I'm going to maybe try and start some action here. As soon as he shows his face, he knows that Aster, they've got a lot up on this top lane. The 4 of them ready to try and push down a tier 1. Obviously, Exorcism up and ready to go from White Album if he wants to commit.
There's too much AoE.
Defending this.
I don't think they can defend. Tyrant Protector level 6, Mars level 7, you have the Exorcism up and running, Blind still level 5, but here comes Viper.
And they've got the Magnus coming over with the Blink ready. Arena's going to get locked down, they look to focus, because we've got to keep eyes on Carl. Can Carl find the jump here with the ult? Power out on Savage, he's going to jump over to the side, looking towards White Album, will drop the RP onto the Death Prophet to allow them to burst through the DP. Catch Lanham as well, he's into the trees, Carl. Trying to clean them out, but Lanham, he'll make it away. So T1, they do actually manage to pull together the defense here. And the tier 1 tower not taking too much damage at all, not even half of its HP there. So another use of the Exorcism, which doesn't result in an objective being taken by Aster.
Radiant's middle tower.
Nicely done. They did a much better job than I expected. Viper tipping it into the trees, sacrificing himself for the greater cause. They got the 2 return kills, and as you mentioned, like 2 Exorcisms already used.
What's off? XXS. He may have stuck around a little too long. Zephyr's going to try and help him out, but with the Siphon up on Carl, there's no chance for a jump out. Sticking around a little too long, and Aster not letting that go away there. Immediate response with the overgrowth opening.
So Viper going for a more of a right-click oriented build. As we discussed, Ogre Axe died on a courier, going into Dragonlance. Once they have that extra range, I want to see what his next item is going to be. Maybe if he wants to get something more Like he can get possibly a BKB and just right-click people down. Panel discussed about Scotty possibly on Viper.
Radiant's bottom tower
But
is under
Lifestealer
attack.
has one queued up, so we'll see. They need to talk about the items. It's very important. Unlike we did yesterday, I'm playing Magnus, you're playing Phantom Assassin. You still go for that Battle Fury.
I can't remember who it was, but there was a pro player who buys Battle Fury even though he has a mag. So that's my reasoning there. You gotta have as much cleave as possible.
I would agree if we were playing against the PL, but never mind. Monet clearing up the ancient stack. Same goes for Mag, who is working towards his. Echo Saber wants to be able to scale. They slowed down a game a bit. So in both of these games, we didn't see too much action happening early on.
No, definitely more of a chill sort of opening. And as you say, at least for Aster for this time round, even though they're behind on the gold at the moment, the fact that they do have the Medusa to fall back on and with some really good solid team fight and sustain around him, definitely leads them to have a much stronger chance here as compared to the sort of draft they had around Monet's Terrorblading game.
Much better high ground defense. You have Twin Protector to just stall the game. Lanham
Dire's
at the
middle
wrong
tower is under attack.
space, wrong time. So he is getting caught. This is the Lanham Classic. Treant Protector, something that he first shown in the DPC, going for the Holy Locket, Living Armor, amplifying the heal, amplifying the healing on the towers as well. So pretty hard to take down, very annoying to play into. They don't have that much tower damage, so you can't really go in, deal chip damage. One of the reasons why I love Leshak in this patch as well, because you have this Treant Protector who's super popular, and then you go in, take the tower easily. Medusa, after finishing SNY, which is coming to her shortly, going into Aghanim's Scepter. Aghanim's got nerfed, still very potent item.
For sure, one of the definitely more irritating carry Aghanims to try and push and fight into when you're just constantly getting held in position by the bounce of the snake, the stone. Aster swinging around bottom, see if they can catch it. Just Zephyr around. He's a bit of a tough one, of course. We'll have to borrow time. They can actually fight long enough through. Okay, they've got the Yules. With the Yules, they'll be able to wait out a good duration if the borrowed time. It's waiting. I mean, gotta get those stacks, you know.
Gotta get him somewhere, indeed. That's the first stack. Because if you have 0, you're kind of in a bad spot. 15 minutes in, Finger was definitely not necessary, but Borax, did he get the last hit? He did, so that's some extra gold for him, working towards the Blink Dagger.
Yeah, the Blink's going to be pretty huge this game against the heroes like the Lifestealer with the Rage. Still though, you know, even if he does get that jump on Savage, Savage is going to be tanky. The Sand's already done, nearly having it fully complete into the SMY. It's not going to be an easy Lifestealer to kill, even if they do get that jump. And talking about jump, T1, they're smoked up, Car's ready to go with the Blink RP. Let's see what we can find. It's going to get over towards Ladder. Go with a quick cure back onto the Trium. Themselves an easy kill here. We'll give the information for the rest of
Dire's top tower is under attack.
I want to see who gets the first Roach. Maybe they want to invade the triangle, try to get a kill there. That Prophet very close to level 12, so Exorcism go from 8 to 16, which could potentially end up resulting in like taking a one fight in their own triangle and then going inside the pit. They have enough sustain. Mars in the end decided to go for the Vanguard and now going into Blink Dagger, so very hard to kill. Well, this is sample it at one point because there's really no need to have it at the later stages of the game. It's more of a, yeah, I don't want to get killed in the lane. Borax getting caught, that's a solo RP on him.
I'm back the cost. I don't know what happened there. Hello, hopefully you can hear me again.
Hello.
What did I
was
miss?
just failing. Sometimes I have nothing. I have long monologues as well. Lion got a kill, and that's pretty much it. Tower gets denied. They get the extra gold from it.
Still, this lead.
Are you gone again? You're not.
No, I'm just sort of contemplating. You know, Monet's trying his best to farm up, but this lead is just growing. It's just, you know, something about the way that T1 utilized the map. There's 23 Savage and Carl, this top net worth. I mean, once Carl has the BKB, it's going to be very hard to handle him. He'll just be charging in, very likely to always find the RP target.
Where are you going?
He's very hard to take down, gets the strength talent on level 15, Echo Saber down, going into BKB. If he feels it's necessary, can disassemble the Echo Saber and get a BKB earlier, and then get that possibly like upgraded again to Echo Saber or get an Orchid from it. A lot of players got better at disassembling items and just maximizing what you can get. Lifestealers,
They have it. They're ready to go. The Overgrowth's going to come out. Rage is already there. 23 Savage is going to head over towards Lanham first. Monet up with the Stone Gaze, trying to turn around. Even with the Stun Controller Boric, they just don't have enough damage. T1 pretty much all still at full HP. And Monet, yeah, he's got to run. They're going to look to probably die. This Rage is back up in a second. The 23 Savage, he wants to chase in. He'll turn for the easier kill. The Borax, they catch the line out to the side. But I mean, Aster, they try and give it a bit of a go there when it comes to the team fight, but I mean, yeah, T1 barely taking any damage at all there from Aster's attempt to fight back.
Yeah, this Lifestealer sitting at almost 3,000 HP, going in with the cleave, the free BKB on the hero. Pretty much impossible to take down, and now going into Scotty, just to reduce the healing, coming out from the Treant Protector, and that Prophet on top of it. It looks good, looks very good for T1 again in the second game. Next big timing is gonna be that Scotty plus a double BKB on Viper plus this Magnus. They're setting things up for a Roche. Potentially they have RP, did not use it in the previous fight.
And again, it's one of those situations where Aster, they're just not going to have the chance to get over here in time. And even if they did, I don't know if they want to try and take a fight. Especially after the outcome of that last one. Monet just, he needs more time. He needs to at least tap this Aghanims, it feels like, to be able to try and fight. The Stone Gaze alone is just not enough in these team fights to turn them around. T1 are too strong right now and are more than happily to fight through some of these defensive maneuvers that Aster can pull off as a team.
This is something that the teams have been doing lately. Have 3 cores that scale well, and that very tanky gets bursted down.
They can get more. They're trying to head forward, but again, Zephyr, very hard target to grab. 23 Savage as well with the Aegis, just not something that Aster can afford to jump on. So and they get Whitemon, but getting anything else just still proving to be so difficult for Aster.
It's just a support kill. Good thing is Medusa is farming. She's not keeping up with the Lifestealer, but once that Aghanim Scepter is done, which is 1,000 gold away, team fights are going to become much easier for them. They will have 1, 2, even 3 resetting tools with the Gaze, Snake, Overgrowth. Even Mars Arena can be used defensively.
T1 ready to swing round to the bottom lane. Take another easy tier 1 tower here as Aster trying to get out along this mid lane. Again, very hard for them to initiate, at least initiate without any counters coming into play. Zephyr is constantly trying to keep himself in the area of Aster's movement, so he is ready with Aphotic Shield saves. Aster make the move. Whitemon as well, also just aggressively positioning himself, knowing that that is one of the pluses of having these 2 supports, just 2 supports that just never really feel that good to go on, because you're not always going to be guaranteed to get the kill. Carl, the taunting down bottom here with the RP. T1 is setting up for a fight, and they're going to find the opening. Carl, jumping onto Monet. The arena's going to come off. See, Carl still holding the RP for now. The Stone Gaze will come to an end. I mean, that's the 2 ults from Aster used. Nothing to be found. That's to run Borax. We'll be able to hold mana. Put the stun in the Hex. They're looking down Carl. Carl has to put the BKB. He'll skewer out to reset himself. You got to watch him. He's going to be ready soon for a blink RP if he finds the opportunity. There's the jump. Looks down there, catches the 2 cores. Do they have the damage? Whiteout is getting taken down low by this harassment from Cuckoo. And now over to Monet. They turn towards the next target. Monet, he's going to go for the TP in front of the ball, but the skewer's back up. The TP is cancelled as T1, they'll take the fight. Lanham's trying to hide in the trees. He will manage to make it away. But they get the 2 big kills there, T1. Both the 2-set and the DP taken out. And just some lovely movements here.
Yeah, Lifestealer instantly connects on Medusa, starts right-clicking her extra slow, kicking in from that Ghoul Frenzy, and fresh to bot Scotty. She's out of mana, pops the magic stick, and then she has enough mana for a stick. We see Carl using Skewer defensively, and then resets to 2-man RP, nice and fast, something that I talked about. 23 Savage is really good at using. doesn't necessarily save Carl, but you know, just heals him up. And now they're in. They want to take this tier 3 barracks, tier 3 down, and the barracks.
Yeah. Huge push coming in to get this very early objective. Yet again, just 22 minutes in, and T1 taking the melee barracks from the bottom lane. And yeah, just the way as well that Carl, the patience from him to hold the RP, make sure that even though he was showing himself getting involved, he wasn't just sitting at the side waiting for the opportune RP moment. He was playing right in the center of the fight, but knowing that he had that ability with the BKB skewer to hold back and come back in when Aster, there's already a point of the fight where Aster pretty much used all their ultimates and didn't have anything to respond to it. Now straight away T1, they're staying on Aster's half of the map.
T1 can afford to get like a mistake or two in a team fight. They have the Aphotic Shield, they have a mech, Holy Locket, 23 seconds, gonna munch on Lion.
Yeah, and over to the side, Carl, he's in with the BKB, he's got the skewer back on White Armor. Another huge catch here from the Magnus. So he sets up 23 Savage to clean up the kills, double kill on the Lifestealer. They're pushing it down mid, and I mean, honestly, this game too, we're just seeing the same here from T1. Just top stuff, there is no doubt about it, that the work of preparation that this team put in has been huge. The arena will come down on it. If the stone gates up, but there's no damage. T1 don't care at all about being caught in this combo. It's Aster that have to run as soon as the ultimates are used. They just cannot fight T1. They're all full HP. They're pushing down the mid.
There's the RP on
jump again. Carl gets the RP, and he's caught the big one. He's caught Monet. Monet out of mana. He'll go down. As the tips absolutely go in the way. They'll call it GG.
I was about to say it. They might call the GG, something that IG really set up a new standard for in the Chinese region, just calling out the GG early on. But T1, they came into this series prepared. First game, they last pick Broodmother, they stomped them. Team Aster in both of these games, they did not they didn't play Dota. They didn't have enough damage. T1 with look at them. Look at how happy they are. I love them.
Yeah.
I love them.
Yeah. Absolutely understandable as well. You've turned up at the major, earning this spot straight into the playoffs in this first series you've come out with against, the top Chinese side. You couldn't have done it any better. 2 games back to back. First game, sure you get a brood in, that's smart and nice, but game 2 they don't need the brood. They're just straight up that much better as